is all fired up. Sure, we'll get to that and the NFL draft tonight. Live from Kansas City, we will bring you coverage thanks to your SoCal Hyundai dealers starting at 7 p.m. tonight, right after Shidano and Cap. And all day tomorrow, you'll hear rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL draft on our sister station E1110 AM when Travis's LA Rams and your LA Rams get on the board in the second and third rounds. So, that's what we got for your Thursday. Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday right now.
Yeah! 36 and 69 now. That's when the Rams pick in the second and third rounds. 36 and 69. Can't wait, I think. Or we can trade back, get a bunch more picks. I'm basically Mel Kiper Jr. What else do you want to know? Got a lot going on. How you feeling this morning, Slick?
I'm so appreciative that Chris Morales, yesterday when he walked in and said he's going to play Adele, I said, can you mix in a little Whitney Houston? He mixed in Whitney Houston. It's like basically I was at a bar and the DJ, I'm like, hey, can you just play me this song? It's a jukebox. That's basically what it was. So thank you, Chris, for that. Feeling pretty good. You know, even though coming off a loss, I feel okay. Feel all right.
It was disappointing for sure. There's a lot of things to get into it with about it. About LeBron's performance was not particularly good. He looked real tired. I know Charles Barkley was talking about it on TNT when I was after the game. Charles comes on and talking about that
when he got older.
Basically, if you're asking an old player to give you a huge night, which he did in Game 4, you can't ask him to do it again in Game 5 because it's just you just can't turn it around that quickly. So LeBron said he'll be better in 6, so we got that to get into. Dodgers are playing right now. Don't mean to be an alarmist, but Julio gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning. That's back-to-back starts where he has looked like something other than Julio. Dodgers trailing by a run, 3-2 after an inning. So we'll talk a little Dodger baseball. However, Taylor, we'll get to you and the fact that you knocked your Kings out.
Disgusted with Taylor. Don't even want to talk to Taylor. I won't even make eye contact with him.
Come on now.
I tried to tell you guys that this stuff is real. Nobody wanted to listen to me, so that's fine. You kind of you paid your own way for this one. I don't know what to do with you.
I hope she was worth it.
I don't want to hear Slee talk about the playoff gods or the gods of any sort after his tweet yesterday. Did you guys see it? I'm already
doing the sign of the cross.
What was
it? Did you see it? So Sliwa said, we have Lakers-Warriors round 2.
Slee!
And he's coming at me talking about playoff
When did
guys?
you send that?
Right after the Warriors beat the Kings.
Freezing cold takes.
Yeah, that could be.
I really hope that doesn't come back to bite you in the ass. I really hope it doesn't.
On both ends, right?
Let me explain. If I told you there's 2 Game 6s coming up on Friday, you pick the Warriors or the Kings, who are you going to pick?
Sure. Golden State.
Okay. The Lakers and the Grizzlies. Lakers had a 3-1 lead. It's now 3-2. Home court is in their advantage. They're playing at Crypto. If I said you could only pick one of those 2 teams, who would you pick?
I would pick the Lakers.
So it's kind of not a crazy tweet.
But that's but see that
it's
is
like you have.
Oh my
have you
God,
ever watched
it's
basketball
like
before?
Are you literally throwing the middle fingers to the gods like this on purpose?
No, I'm making a prediction that went on Twitter. It's the same prediction we make here, except it's in writing.
But this is a very, very dangerous thing that you're treading on. It just that this is how this stuff.
A lot
happens.
of confidence over here, guys.
Ask him how he was feeling after 2-2. Right?
Well, that
and then he took down
you did
the
it after a
mustache,
loss.
and here we go.
See?
Well, that's even more confidence. The difference is Taylor had promised the world that he had a playoff mustache. We all bought into it. The Sacramento Kings, when they walked into their locker room, there was a mustache just sitting there, and they would hit it on their way in and out of the locker room.
This one's for
He
Taylor.
trimmed the mustache.
This is like, okay, for playoff gods, it's like the 10 Commandments. I feel like the first commandment would be, don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Well, but we've been counting them already. Yesterday we spent half of the show talking about going up against the Warriors in the second round.
Commandment 10, don't shave your playoff mustache.
Right. Well, more like 4. I feel like it's higher than that. It's not the last one. It wasn't the one that they got 9, but 9 doesn't work. It doesn't fit on 2 tablets. We need 5 on each one. So.
Kings in 7, and
I think then
Lakers Grizzlies is going to 7 too. I hope you know that, Slee. It's going to
well,
7.
if it goes 7, we got a problem. That's a problem. If it goes 7, we might have a problem.
It really.
I have
really
one
needs
thing that
to
fears
not
me.
Go to 7.
I do have one thing that I'm really, really fearing, and we've talked about this a ton. They played Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is the point where if Memphis has got any shot, no rest, flying back and forth. That is my one concern. My one concern is Did Bron have a 1 for 9 because he's tired? Okay, makes sense. Will Bron have another 1 for 9 because he's tired? All right, that part would be an issue.
They did play him quite a few minutes last night.
Still played 30-plus, right? 35? Or
he played more minutes than Anthony Davis, which seems peculiar. They were down 25 points with 10 minutes to go. We'll get into this. These are the questions that we haven't spent nearly enough time talking about all season long. Just this with stuff. Look, 25 down with 10 minutes to go. It's the NBA. You're going to lose. Maybe there's a 1 in a 500 chance that you come back. But what's more likely? That you would rather have a little bit of rest and get ready for Game 6 with a LeBron James that plays 8 fewer minutes?
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have that. For me, Anthony Davis as well. That was
when you're ready to break that one down. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
It was a very, very odd decision to continue to push there. Let's do it right now, because I don't understand how that happened. The Lakers were in the game in the first half, even though they're down by double digits or whatever. They come out.
Do you guys have the sound on that?
And they play really, really well. They get some threes from D'Angelo. They crawl back into the game.
Yeah.
And then in the time it takes you to sneeze, they were down 25. It just happened like, wait, how did it go from, what was it?
Can I give you
25?
I'm going to give you the. It was a 1-point game. And to close out the third, it was a 19-2 run.
Ugh.
Lakers are down 18 to start the fourth. And then in the beginning of the fourth, some more layups from there.
They fell behind by 25 points. I think it was like 10 minutes and 20-some-odd seconds left in the game. You're down 25. At that point, don't you run up the white flag? Rest is so much more valuable than the 1 in a million chance you have of crawling back into that game, especially for a guy like LeBron James, who was clearly out of fuel last. He was... And I'm not even here to beat up LeBron. LeBron had a bad game. LeBron has earned the right to have a bad game. LeBron has earned the right to, you know what, I just didn't have it tonight. He had 5 turnovers. He hasn't shot the 3 well, really, since the opening game of the series. He's been really bad in that regard. Anthony Davis was really good. The supporting cast was pretty good. LeBron's bad game was a big deal.
Yeah.
Why would you burn more fuel out of that tank in a game you're not going to win anyway?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for some explanation that makes sense. I haven't heard it.
I have an answer. There's no answer. There really isn't an answer. So I'm with you on this. Fourth quarter, about, I want to say, let's say 8.5, something like that. If we're gonna demolish me on Twitter for predicting Lakers Warriors in the next round, I said, literally, pull the starters. Get ready for Friday.
Emily, make sure you get a screen cap of that tweet just in case.
It's not going anywhere. Don't worry. I'm not. When you commit, you commit.
There's still
it's
time
done.
to delete it.
Yeah.
No.
No,
That's
time.
isn't that the worst?
People are calling in saying, "Please have Alan delete this tweet."
Isn't that the worst
it's
thing?
too late.
Isn't that the worst thing you could do is delete it?
You
can't delete it. If it's
worst
there,
thing
it's
you
there.
could do is what you did. The second worst thing you could do is delete the tweet.
It ain't going anywhere. All right, but just to stay on what you said. Pull the starters, get ready for Friday.
Yes.
The moment I tweeted that, Lakers actually went on a 12-0 run. But do you know what that 12-0 run meant? They're still down 12.
Yeah.
They're not coming back in that game. It's not. And Bron was actually the first one pulled of everybody. But I'm with you that there's a time to say, in different circumstances, I get it. Not this circumstance. This circumstance is, do you know what you're doing right after the game? You're flying back to L.A. because you got another game coming up on Friday. LeBron James, let me give you an example. Austin Reeves played 40 minutes yesterday. Reeves looks winded. He does. He looks tired. Reeves refilling his gas tank is going to be different than LeBron trying to refill his. Anthony Davis, it's going to be different. Bron, you could tell yesterday was not, hey, LeBron just had a bad night. Maybe he did just have a bad night. But you can also tell that Bron looked like he had tired legs.
Sure he did.
So when there's opportunities, I thought, let's see what's going to happen here. By halftime, what's this game look like? Okay, Lakers were still in it. It was a 9-point game. When they made their run in the third quarter, it was Lakers might be able to close this thing out.
Sure.
They actually, I think part of the frustration a lot of Laker fans had yesterday, when they got to within 1, AD took a rest. And by the time they took 8, they brought AD.
They attacked the paint like crazy.
By the way, that's not the time to say, AD, take a rest. That's the time to say, I'm going to use a timeout. I got a TV timeout coming too. AD, get your breather, but clock's not going to run. This is going to stay within striking distance, and then we're going to play out the next 6-7 minutes and see if we could take a lead. I'm with you. I hated the way the end of that game ended, specifically because you played guys extra than they needed.
The number one priority for this Laker team, as constructed with their two best players being a guy in year 20 and another guy who is injury prone, is time, is rest, is health, is making sure that when did they look their best in this series? Right? Game 1, they looked really spry and quick and good. In Game 3,
4 days off, right?
Right.
Yep.
And now, to your point, you're going every other day. The number one thing you have to do, especially with LeBron James, is get as much time as you possibly can off of his feet, out of game time, and just start to get ready. LeBron is still the smartest player on the court. At times, he can be the best player on the court. But what you can't fake is that he's played 20 years of NBA basketball. Yep. And that's actually such a low ball number. It's so many more because of all the playoff games that he's played. And it's not just the minutes themselves. It's the type of minutes where he's the one that has to take up the ball. He's the one that has to do everything. It is 20-plus seasons of the most intense responsibility ever, okay? If you can get him 7 minutes off of out of the game, you have to.
You do it.
And it was a huge mistake. And now, like you mentioned, we're coming back. It's on as short a rest as you're going to have.
Yep.
And he has to be good because we saw. I think it was.
And Bron wasn't on a heater where you're saying I can't take him out.
No,
Bron was struggling.
The game was over, Al.
Yeah,
they're down by 25 points.
270 playoff games, by the way.
There you go. So that's what 3+ seasons. Along
270
the way?
playoff games.
It's insane.
It is 3+ seasons.
Why they opted to leave him in the game, I don't know. Why LeBron didn't even make a hey, you know what? I'm done. Put me on the bench. I'm getting ready for Game 6 because now, again, let's not be too negative
dramatic
about this. I still think they're going to win tomorrow night. I think that they're going to win the series.
Put a tweet out on
it. But now you have to put yourself in a position where you kind of have to win on the Friday night. It's not a 0 chance in a Game 7 in Memphis, but you've put yourself in a position where a lot of randomness is now available. I think they're going to win tomorrow night. I hope they're going to win tomorrow night, but they made it a little bit more difficult on themselves by playing LeBron that additional 8 or 9 minutes.
So we chat a little bit about that coming up. And then Darvin Ham did have some comments post-game, kind of what the strategy was, when to pull some of these guys. We can do that coming up next.
We'll do that. Plus, I have a bit of a dilemma that I want your help with and listeners' help with because I have something coming up later today that I really don't want to do, and I'm hoping if there's some way to kind of
it's not the dentist because you love the dentist.
I do love the dentist. It's not the dentist, but it's something I don't want to do that we all have to do that I'm wondering if there's a better way to do it. That's all coming up. It's Travis Lee, 17.
Today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What we're doing on Cinco de Mayo. Going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Salitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium, used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day, gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar.
We're all
right
going to be there, right?
That's the 5th of May, May.
Yes,
Cinco de
I know.
Mayo. The 5th
No,
of May.
actually. at 10 a.m.
And it is Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday. Of course, reacted to Lakers last night, getting ready for Game 6 tomorrow. And coming up at noon today, because Jerry Springer, you want me to do it? Really? It is a final. We will do a snake draft. I love Jerry, though. I grew up watching that when I was at home, sick, or whatever. I should have been watching it, though, right? Anyway, Jerry Springer passed away, R.I.P., and at noon, we will do a snake draft. It's a snake draft on the best trash TV. That's coming up at noon, so don't miss that. Right here, Travis and Sliwa rolls on here Thursday on 710.
Disrespectful to Jerry Springer. Jerry.
Bro, how popular
Unbelievable.
was that show?
Unbelievable. I have a Jerry Springer story.
Okay.
You want it now or do you want it later? Let's do it later because I have something that's
Do your thing.
weighing on me.
Okay.
That is, look, it's not a big deal, but because of the pandemic and
Yeah.
because of just reasons that I can't really explain, I have not been to just see the doctor when I'm feeling well in a very long time, in probably 4 years or so.
Okay.
3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Today,
I'm sure where this is going, Taylor.
I'm healthy, feel good, everything's good. But I'm going to just get my annual that for me is about every decade physical.
How are you?
Okay.
Okay.
As someone who is over 50 years old, when you go to get a physical, they do an exam that you need to get done. Has to happen, to make sure that your men's health is in a good spot.
Like an exam?
Yeah, like an exam. The one where
Like
you lie on your side and they say relax. That exam.
Exam?
Right.
Okay.
I know nobody is like looking forward to that exam.
Is it live streamed for YouTube?
I don't know. Like, do we chit chat? Do we make
good
small?
question.
Emily and I were talking about like, and every male or female, you have those exams that you have to do, right?
Yep.
I just, can we just get this over with? Can this just be a straight business transaction where you come in there, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Dr. this, that, or the other, and all right, here we go. That's really all I want. I don't like the anticipation of the paper gown. I don't like any of these things
Well,
that lead up to it.
let's look at this.
Distract you
Let's
by
look at this
talking.
from the other perspective. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's put ourselves in the other person's shoes.
Yes,
It's what they do for a living.
I understand.
It's what they do X amount of times a day. So for them, it is kind of nice to have a little bit of a conversation. It is nice to get to know your customer, your patient.
Yeah,
maybe
customer
grab a
feels like the wrong word in this situation.
maybe you grab a cup of coffee. Maybe you guys have a little conversation prior. I mean, I think you're being selfish in that you're not looking at it from the other perspective.
Have you
They don't
had?
do
Have
this
you?
all day,
No.
though. It's not like every single person coming in is
Right.
asking for the same procedure.
Somebody's got a cough. Another guy's
Yeah.
knee hurts. There's some other
Yeah.
thing.
Like
This
once a
is.
day.
Like, I feel good. Can it just be? We need to get medicine to a point where they can just look and go, yeah, you look okay.
Yep.
You have. I'm going to give you the seal of approval. Sign off on this.
I think by this
keep it
point,
moving.
I think there's a very good chance whoever's doing the procedure, they have like a go-to joke they always go to. Like this
For
one's working.
sure.
This one has worked for a month straight. This thing's not getting old because it's worked on every
'Cause-
customer.
So my appointment's at 3:30. Okay. So I've got, what's that? I got about 5 hours and change before this. It's already occupying the front of my thoughts, right? Like, we'll talk about the Dodgers, we'll talk about the Lakers and the draft tonight, but it's at the forefront of my thoughts of what's coming up. As we get to when I'm driving out of here today, it's going to be more. And then I'm going to be in the waiting room and I'm going to filling out the paperwork and then we're going to be a little closer. And then they're going to call me back and they're going to put me in there and I'm going to sit there on the little piece of paper on that table and they'll say, oh, he'll be in for a minute. Then my anxiety is going to be super high at this point. And then he comes in and then he's going to want to talk. I don't want to, there has to be a show up, get it done, drive home, and just go on to the next day as quickly as possible.
How are the Lakers doing?
Right? I don't, and this is a new doctor for me, so we got to go through all of the family history and all this stuff.
Yep.
I just really would rather not.
I have a feeling there's a good 45-minute conversation before anything gets done.
Would you
Have
rather
you-
it be a robot? Would you rather it be something that is a
Not a
that is
robot.
not,
It could malfunction.
converse? Right, exactly. And I think for at least for women, it's more of a thing like it's almost like a shot where you're like, I'm gonna talk to you to distract you from the uncomfortable feeling that you're feeling, and it makes it go by a little faster. So sometimes I do kind of like to chit chat to get my mind off of whatever is happening.
Well, good luck. And
Have you
I
had the
wish
pleasure
nothing
yet?
But the best. Have not.
No, you're getting there. You're at that stage where you're supposed to get that first one, and then if it goes well, they can push it off for quite a while. But you're at least at the first lap of the race very, very soon. I'll report back to you on whether or not this is my third lap around the track. It's just like, all right, I know I have to do it.
You're a veteran.
You hear all these people, prostate health and all this stuff. You need to get checked out. I know it's weird, and I know, and I'm gonna do it. I'm just saying, somebody kind of give me an idea on. Is there a way to make it less odd?
Here's what
You should ask him.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Is there a way to make this less odd?
Question.
So what I do is you can't make the actual appointment any less odd, but you can do like a little treat for yourself around the appointment to make you kind of forget that this is happening. So
for
either
instance?
I go and get like a pair of shoes, or I go and get like a chicken sandwich, or
Are
something
those
like
new
that.
Jordans? Huh?
Yep, exactly. No, but it's just like
I don't know if that'll work.
I don't know if Trav is going to be doing
to
that.
avoid the thought of what just happened. You're like, well, let's go do this thing.
Look, thank you. It's a good idea. Maybe I'll go out to dinner tonight or something to try to
Cheer yourself
move,
up.
just
That could be
move
it.
on and
That could be
go
it.
to the next thing. Look, maybe everything's great. Enjoy the rest of your 2 years. We'll see you in a couple of years until you feel
Here's a
anyway,
popsicle.
feel a little better. If anybody's got any suggestions, you know where to find me on Twitter at Travis Rogers. That's a good way to do it. Don't forget, coming up a week from tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo, ESPN LA is taking over Salida Tacos and Margaritas in Anaheim for a Cinco de Mayo fiesta. We're giving away Angels tickets. We're giving away Mandy Awards tickets. We're giving away Salida gift cards and more, starting with our show at 10 a.m. So me and Slee, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and the entire 710 crew at Anaheim's hottest new restaurant, Salida Tacos and Margaritas. Light the fire within and feed your soul. Maybe I'll just medicate with tacos after the whole thing is over.
Do the margaritas first.
I don't like going to the doctor under any circumstances, but this is the
The
one I
dentist
really
you look
don't
forward to, like no tomorrow, but the doctor.
because I take good care of my teeth. I know I know my teeth don't hurt. They don't bleed when I fall. You know what I mean? It's all good. This I don't really quite know what's going to happen. I think we're good. I think it's going to work out all right. Game 6 tomorrow.
Yep.
They should probably win that game.
Do you want it just to go back to what we said? Do you want that? Let's take a listen to Darvin Ham. We were talking about the kind of what was the game plan towards the end, keeping Braun and keeping AD in.
It's tough, man, because when you're competitive, it's like you feel like, in today's basketball, the three-point shot, it can be the great equalizer. You can chew up a deficit really, really quickly. We gave up I think it was a 14-1 run to them in the first half last game in Game 4. So it just shows you, and that was in a span of maybe a couple of minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes. But, it's the great conundrum. Do you compete harder and hopefully see some shots go in, get to the free throw line, get the scoreboard moving, or do you take that time, like as you just said, and try to soak up some minutes with those guys getting ice on the sideline or whatever? But it's playoff basketball, man. Everybody's in a competitive mode, and we decided to leave our guys out there.
All right, so that's his explanation. By the way, not a bad explanation.
Yes, it is.
Here's the problem. Context we always talk about. What are the details within this? You're down 24. You're not down 10. There's a big difference. That even if you go on, Lakers went on a 12-0 run. Trav, after the 12-0 run, they're still down 12. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. hits one shot, and you're like, yeah, the game's over. That's all it took.
The game was over when they were down 25.
100% it was. It was. That's my point, is that, and add some more context to it. LeBron James and these players look gassed. This is not, guys, we have 3 days off before the next game. The game's not on Sunday. It's not on Saturday. It's on Friday. That within 48 hours, you're going to be back on the court, which is exactly what's happened since Saturday. Last 3 games that you've played, you've been back on the court. Oh, by the way, you had an overtime game in the last one where Braun played 45 minutes. The idea of what he's saying, it's competitive, the game, you got threes you can go on a run real quick, all that. That's fine. I understand that if it's a 10-point game, not if it's a 24-point game. So the explanation, he tried explaining, I just didn't think it was the right decision.
You bring up a good point, is that this isn't just LeBron looked gassed, which he did. This isn't just Anthony Davis is injury prone, which he is. This is Austin Reeves looks tired. Austin
Played 40
Reeves
minutes
is a
yesterday.
young player, but he's at a point in the season that he's never been in before. He's playing playoff games that he's never played in before.
Played 82, played the play-in, moved to the starting
And-
lineup, is playing 40 minutes a game.
For sure. Totally different. They've been playing high-intensity, high-pressure games for 2 months. This was not the Boston Celtics, who have been in cruise control.
Sure, Denver and
Take your pick of those teams at the time. They had to fight like hell just to get one of those top 10 spots. They had to fight like hell to get out of the play-in. They're in a playoff series against a good Memphis team that's the number one. Everything that they're doing is expensive when it comes to energy expenditures. And last night they had an opportunity to not do it, and they chose not to. It's a big mistake. I think that they're going to win. I think they'll win tomorrow night. I think they really, really need to win tomorrow night. But this is a good example.
Okay.
Let's say they do win tomorrow. It's still another game that you had to play. If they got to go to 7, it's potentially 2 more games, assuming they win game 7 if it goes there. Every time you burn more of the rubber off of LeBron's tires, the less he has when you have to have it in these situations. Against Golden State, if that's in fact what happens. And, against Sacramento, good luck, right? If Sacramento's running you up and down. To get to the finish line, as good as it's been to get in, to be as competitive as they've been in this series, the goal is to win a title. They if it breaks right, it could certainly happen, but not if you keep making strategic mistakes like this. And this was a strategic error for Darvin Ham. And the more we see this late game decision making, the more I don't know if he's up for this. It just feels like there are just as many what the heck are they doing as opposed to, that was a pretty good play, and that's a bad ratio. It can't be 1 for 1. Steve Kerr occasionally will do something and go, what the heck is he doing? But not a lot. It's not 1 for 1. And it is with Darvin Ham.
Yeah, that one, when you knew the game was over and you got another game coming up. And listen, I wasn't too shocked. You and I were talking about this before the game. Were you shocked the Lakers lost yesterday?
Not shocked.
I wasn't either.
No.
And did it feel like that's supposed to be a 5-game series? Memphis has played good enough to where it shouldn't be 5.
I agree.
Memphis went 1 game in OT. Ja Morant has been injuries back and forth, so he's kind of been in and out. Memphis played good.
They did.
They scored almost, I think it was close to 70 points between Desmond Bane and Ja Morant. They had 20 rebounds between the two of those guys. They shot 50% or better between the two of those guys. Those guards were amazing. The Lakers on the other side, Reeves shot poorly. D'Angelo shot poorly. Braun obviously shot poorly. Okay, Lakers didn't play all that good of a game, but in this game of chess, you're starting to think of the next game during the game that you're playing.
All right, so game 6 tomorrow night. Is it the proverbial must win? We know it is for Memphis. Is it for the Lakers? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
Series stands at 3-2, Game 6. Tomorrow night at Crypto.com, we'll be all over it with a Lakers Game Day Friday tomorrow, plus all your reaction today. So keep checking back with us all day long, whether you're listening on 710 or on the new ESPN LA app. Don't miss a moment, yo. Right now, more of Trav and Slee.
Appreciate you fellas trying to help me out here a little bit. Ozzy says eye contact. Nope, we're not doing that.
No,
that's not
definitely not.
happening. Big E says, are you going to take a day off tomorrow? No, I'll be here. It's all good. And then lastly, Rick Lopes says, you need to walk into the appointment and say, get her done.
Get her done.
No, I don't want to make it worse. I just want to go in there and get it over with.
It's an interesting strategy.
I just want to get
not
it
think
over
of that.
with. Right? Just, hey, nice to meet you. Here's my blood.
Yep.
Look in my ears. Look in my throat or whatever.
Insurance.
Here's my insurance card. Let's do this. All right, we're done? Cool. Send me the results. I don't need anything after, before, during, just very, very quickly. That's it. That doesn't seem like a lot.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe you end up going a relationship with this person, this doctor, and next thing you know, you guys are having a beer together.
Play a little golf.
Yeah.
And you can all stop sending me pictures of Kawhi. I don't. And if you never mind. I'm just gonna leave that over there. We don't need to get into it too much. No, not that part. The Lakers have put themselves in a weird spot, Slee. Speaking of weird spots, they can win a Game 7 on the road because LeBron James is not going to be overwhelmed by the prospect of playing a road game in a Game 7. He's LeBron James. So it's not a, if they lose tomorrow, that's it. It's a wrap. It's going to be much easier to win tomorrow than it is in Game 7. I don't want to say must win because I trust in LeBron James, but this is not the we just saw it last night. Mm-hmm. We've seen even the game in Game 4 where he was really good. This was him being really good for a brief period of time and being very tactical and strategic otherwise. The last thing you need is for him to go out there and shoot every bullet he has tomorrow night and come up short. Because now that's back-to-back games where it hasn't gone your way. You're back on an airplane and everything that comes along with that.
You played 45 minutes. You played 37. Right. I'm assuming tomorrow you're playing 35-plus. Listen, I think LeBron will be better. And LeBron said he was, you know what, he'll be better in Game 6. I do think that's going to happen. What LeBron and AD actually have not had this series is both of them play well together. That AD has a good game and Bron has a good game. Okay, we'll see if that happens tomorrow. Trav, the other part of this, too, when they made their run and they got to within one, if you noticed what happened, and this is pretty this is common in some of the wins that they've had. When they made their run, they got to within one. It's not because Bron did something. It's because Bron could take a quick second to kick back, and other people were contributing. D'Lo went on an 8-0 run on his own. We talked about this in the beginning of the series. If D'Angelo Russell does not have I'm going to give you 15, 16 points, somewhere around there. If Austin Reeves is not going to give you, and I'm talking about efficiently, you can't have 15 points and you took 13 shots. That's not an efficient night. They need some of these other guys. Did Rui not just come back to life these last couple of games? He did, and you knew that was going to probably average itself out. Role players do. But I'm going to play off of what you just said. Do you think they could just depend on Bron go win this game for us?
No.
You can in a possession.
Right.
You can in a certain situation. But if Reeves has a bad shooting night, D'Angelo has a bad shooting night, Rui doesn't contribute, I'm just using guys that are role players, you can still have Anthony Davis have a good night and they could still lose the game. They scored 99 points yesterday. It wasn't just on Bron. Nobody else was doing anything either. So tomorrow when we come back here, I get what you're saying. Why would Game 7 all of a sudden be we found something? No, it is you stole home court in Game 1 so you can have Game 6 here to wrap it up. That was the whole purpose of doing it. Memphis is just thinking in their head, and they were thinking this yesterday. Yesterday they were saying just send it to L.A. Tomorrow they're thinking just send it back to Memphis. Anything can happen in a Game 7. I'm with you. You know, before the series started, I picked Lakers in 7. Mm-hmm. However, I don't know how good I feel about that anymore.
Right? Yeah,
right? That there
it's
is
the 7 part.
It's you're here. It's set up for you to go to round 2. You got home court advantage, what you wanted. You got that home crowd in front of you. If you don't finish it off tomorrow, there's real risk. You and I walk in here on Monday, and the Lakers are no longer a part of the playoffs.
You said something about Anthony Davis played well last night and still wasn't good enough, and you need all the kind of things to come together at the same time. That LeBron and AD have not been really good on the same night, and they haven't. Last night, I think, was clarifying, might be the right word, that you now know that if you're going to win these games, it's based on how LeBron James plays. Because AD was good last night. He was. He had a nice night for him.
He did.
And it wasn't enough. And quite frankly, it wasn't even close to enough. Not that he can't be a little bit better, but it's pretty clarifying to know that if we're going to win a game, if we're going to win a series, it's going to go on how LeBron James plays, not on how – you need Anthony Davis too, don't get me wrong, but this is – last night was with – if LeBron is below average or even maybe average, we're in deep, deep trouble, which brings me back to the first thing, which is why you would burn the rubber off his tires when you didn't need to do it last night, because even a really good Anthony Davis last night, he got blown out. Mm-hmm. Maybe the final score wasn't, blowout. It's 17 is maybe not a blowout, but
it's a blowout.
It was a 25-point game at one point.
The Lakers' biggest lead in the game was 4-2.
And even when they got it down to 1, it just in a blink of an eye went right back up the way that it did. You need LeBron to be great, and the more often you ask him to be great, I think the less likely it is he can do it. He can do it in pockets. He can do it in spurts. He did it in Game 4 for the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yeah.
But if you're saying, hey, listen, we can't wait around to the fourth quarter and overtime, because look, he misses that layup. What are we talking about right now? Right? That and by the way, that was
by the series
hard ass shot that he hit.
It's by the series.
That is a hard shot that he hit. If he doesn't go superhuman, we're having we got in the first round and bye-bye.
Listen, I'm gonna go even before that. When it was 97-90. If D'Angelo Russell doesn't come out of nowhere and hit 3 straight threes, Bron's not even in the position to put the game into OT. So there were some, but listen, that's how the playoffs work, right? Like some teams blow leads, some teams hold on to them, some teams take advantage of opportunities, some teams don't. I think the Lakers are still in a good spot. I really do believe that.
I do too.
You got Game 6 tomorrow at home. You know what? If they lose tomorrow, Game 6 at home, then maybe it's just not meant to be. But before the series started, if I told you we're 5 games in, Lakers are up 3-2,
sure,
you're here at Crypto, we're signing up for it.
Yeah, except that Game 5 in that scenario, LeBron looked like he was just on fumes. That's the part that goes, okay, 3-2, you take it?
Yep.
Coming home? Yes. 3-2 with your most important player playing heavy minutes and looking really tired at the end of Game 5? Yeah, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it, but yesterday feels so much more significant just seeing how tired. If LeBron would have looked good and they lost because Ja hits a shot at the buzzer, right?
Sure.
Okay, fine. Let's go play again. It's not what happened.
So big picture, let's look. Let's say the Lakers get past Memphis in 6. Bron's only going to be able to put fuel in that tank so many times, right? And I know the deeper you go in the playoffs, obviously his legs are probably getting more tired. I'm not sure because they haven't sent out the schedule yet what it would look like in round 2. Do you have 2 days off? Do you have 1? I don't know what any of it look like. But big picture, if we're looking at LeBron James in a week from now, if the Lakers are still playing, don't you think we're going to get, I don't want to say more performances like this, but he's not going to get fresher as the playoffs go on. So that's obviously a concern, big picture.
Let's go to Venice. And Ryan, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's going on, Ryan? Hello, Ryan.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I just want to say, look, all things considered, LeBron did have a bad game last night, but we're down 1 point at the end of the third quarter, and then all of a sudden it turned into a 25-point lead. But it was 75-74. We should be encouraged that we can still make runs like this. The game kind of just got away in a weird way, a bunch of offensive rebounds and turnovers. And, I mean, that was the quickest 24-point turnaround I've ever seen.
Certainly the quickest I've seen.
But tomorrow night, I think we're going to take care of business. I'm gonna go as far as to call it. We're gonna win tomorrow night.
You should tweet it.
You can book that.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan and I are on the same page.
I think they're going to win too. They need to. Now you're asking for LeBron to do something that maybe he can, maybe he can't do. I'm never going to bet against LeBron James in a big-time situation until it doesn't happen. He's LeBron James, but I'd really rather not play a Game 7 in Memphis on Sunday. That sounds like a really terrible idea because that scenario, like you just said, Slee, up 3-2, Game 6 on your home court, would you take it? Absolutely. If you're telling me it's 3-3 going to Game 7 and LeBron looks like he's on fumes, I don't love that.
You know what you're probably going to have, too, on Sunday? Game would be in Memphis. Probably a 12:30 tip.
Yeah, you're right. Early.
Because the only other game they got earlier than that, Miami, New York's at 10. They're not going to put Lakers at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. Maybe they will, but the reason why I point that out, you're playing a 7:30 tip on Friday. You're done at, by the time you
11,
leave the arena,
12.
all this stuff. Saturday, you wake up, you fly to Memphis. You're already losing 2 hours. You're going to tip off at 12:30, which would be 10:30. Well, it'd be 2:30, but 12:30 here, right? 12:30 here, you're going to lose that maybe 8 additional hours that you would get if it's an evening game. Don't go to Game 7.
It's something you want to take care of tomorrow night. I'm not going must win, but it's close.
One thing I don't agree
close.
with him, he's saying that they were in the game yesterday. He's not wrong that by the score, they were down by 1 in the third quarter, but they really were not in the game yesterday. I don't want to.
I agree with you.
I don't want to, but that's okay. It's like I said, I'm going to go back to this. 3-2. You're at home at Crypto. The place is going to be rocking tomorrow. Wrap it up.
Yes, it's as simple as that. And give LeBron James cryotherapy or whatever he needs, red wine baths like Amari Stoudemire, whatever it takes. Let's make sure that LeBron gets what he needs. Hey, did you see with Taylor coming up next? It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What we're doing on Cinco de Mayo, going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Salitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium, used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day, gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar.
We're all
right now.
going to be there, right?
That's the 5th of May.
Yes,
Cinco
I
de
know.
Mayo. The 5th
No,
of May.
actually.
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
All right, more of your Laker phone calls coming up in just a little bit. 877-710-ESPN. But no way we don't check in with Taylor before you do your Hey, Did You See portion. How are you feeling after what happened to your Kings last night?
Truth be told, I'm a little bit nervous, but I still
Just a
think
little?
Kings in 7.
Do you really?
I said it from the beginning. I'm going to stick with it. I know I disturbed the gods a little bit, but so did Slee, so that makes me feel better.
Yeah, there has been
I did that for you, by the way.
Squaring of the account.
It was here for you.
What do you got
Okay,
for us?
here we go. Did you see that there are currently 779 strains of marijuana that are named and recognized? So, Travis, if you had your own strain of weed, what would you name it?
Get her done.
That's aggressive. That's what I call it.
I like that.
Right? I think I use that phrase fairly regularly.
That's aggressive OG.
The Travis strain of marijuana would be called That's Aggressive, because I would like it to be a little bit aggressive.
Slee, what you got?
Be like a Ask Slee strain or something like that. Can there be like a, how do I use Sliwa in a strain?
Sleepy, Sliwa. Like, I'm trying to think like you could go like with the
Sleazy.
the indica, kind of the sleepy one, sleazy, slee, something like that.
Well, sleazy does not sound like we're.
What's weed?
We're
Slee?
we're
not
chilling here.
selling
Name it whatever you
investments.
want.
It's not.
doesn't
It's
have
not
to
a
sell.
401k
Playoff
where you gotta.
sleep.
Sleepwa? No.
If you gotta go down.
Something with the slee and the sleep. Something that kind of puts you on the couch and you're just chilling, relaxing. Something like that.
I think mine would be heebie-jeebie. Can you give me the heebie-jeebie?
Not bad. Have you? Did
Do you trip out or?
that's really good.
No, I did think of that on the spot, but I
Yeah.
have had the Heebs. My nickname, if I haven't been called M, has always been Heebs. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what's my ride? If I take a heebie-jeebie
It's a
edible,
hybrid.
it's a hybrid. It's
Yeah.
kind of in the middle.
Sounds like I'm tripping out.
Yeah. It feels like it's got a
I'm
more of
already
a
nervous before I take
psychedelic
it.
component to it that I really don't want. Psychedelics
But sometimes you want to vibe
terrify me.
with.
I don't want anything that's going to make me see things that aren't really there. I don't want that.
But maybe
at
you'll
all.
open up your mind.
Nope.
You should do it with Aaron Rodgers.
Nope, don't want to go in there. I'm very happy living in my alternate reality.
He shut that door a long time
Yep,
ago.
not interested in
There's a
getting
key
inside
to
there.
get
I'm
it
sure there
unlocked.
is. I want to melt it down and turn it into a fork.
I think I'd do something like light the beam, like the.
Oh yeah, that would be.
Weed, I don't know.
Something that
like
makes
that.
you see those. Sometimes, every once in a while, you get those really intense colors.
Purple trailers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you get that. There you go.
Okay, guys, next up, did you see that 2022 was deemed the year of the wedding? So, according to the New York Times, 2.6 million weddings took place last year. So, my friend just announced that he's going to be getting married a month from now, kind of a shotgun wedding kind of deal. And I wanted to know, what is the most or least amount of time that you should let somebody know that they're going to be invited to or part of your wedding?
I would say least 3 months. 3 months seems like
They gave me a month warning. So.
I think most
Is it
people
local?
give.
It's in Colorado.
I think most
Okay.
people give like a 6 month-ish. Some people give a year, whatever it is. 3 would seem like, wow, that's a little aggressive. But I got 3 months to figure out that I can make sure that it gets that way. I say 3 is the least that you can do.
I think 1 is the least you can do. 3 is kind of standard. Like if I give you in March that we're getting married in June, 3 months to get a day off or to get travel for a weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
That's plenty of time. A month is cutting it pretty close because maybe you already have something else in your schedule for that day. Maybe there's a work event that you just can't move.
What are you doing this weekend? Getting married? You want to come?
Yeah, a month is the absolute bare minimum, unless it's hey, listen, we got to get married tomorrow or I'm getting deported or something like that. But it's a month
It's not
is the
that serious,
very,
yeah.
very low end.
I think that it depends on the wedding. So I have my friends that are getting married in Hawaii, so that gives me plenty of time. They gave me like a year. And then I also have another pair of friends who are getting married in Greece, and so they also need a lot of time. But if it's local, I think a month is very fine because you don't have to plan the travel necessarily. It's a weekend likely, so you can just get one hotel room and you'll be fine.
It's the minimum.
For local weddings.
3 is what you should do, but if
Why don't like Middle Eastern people give like a 9-year? Hey, we're getting married in 2028.
Is this a good buddy of yours, or is this a casual
friend
acquaintance?
since high school.
Okay, so this is a close friend, and are you going to go?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So he said all you have to worry about, Taylor, is just getting here.
Just get there.
Just get here, and we'll take care of everything else. So
30 days. It's not ideal, but you can do it in 30 days.
Okay. Next up, guys. Did you see the worst beer in the U.S. according to a survey? Any guesses?
None of the sponsors that on this the Travis and
Natty
Sliwa
Ice
show.
Light.
Exactly.
Natty Ice Light.
Natty Light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not a sponsor, right?
They're not.
No.
Okay, good. Sleet, what's the worst
they
beer
are,
that
I
you've
love
ever
it.
tasted?
I don't know if I give you a specific example. I'll tell you the type of beer. The dark is. I'm using Guinness like as an example. That's not my type of beer. I don't need a super dark beer. Usually, if I'm getting a beer, I'm getting some type of a lager. So I'm not an IPA type of guy. Some people love that stuff. That's just not for me. So more of the darker beers.
Yeah, that's a personal preference, and you can that great. But the thing that's like everybody just universally agrees with that I've had it. I don't know anybody that liked it, but we all used to buy it when we were not making any money.
Natty Ice was the beer we used to get.
Natty Ice was cheap too. So cheap is always a tell, right? Do any of you guys know Lucky Lager?
No.
Okay, so they actually had kind of a cool gimmick where underneath the cap of a Lucky Lager was like a little riddle or a little rhyme limerick
Snapple.
kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
yeah,
kind
that's
of
right.
like that, but it was borderline undrinkable. You know what I mean? So you would get it, you'd open the thing, you'd laugh, you'd take a sip or two, but yeah, Lucky Lager for me by a mile.
Probably Milwaukee's best too.
You know what? I mean, it's not my first choice.
Drinkable.
It's
Have you guys
not
had
the worst thing I've ever
Steel
had.
Reserve?
I
haven't had that. That's malt liquor, right?
I don't know.
I think you're right.
Personally,
Steel Reserve.
for me, it's like a type of beer. I cannot do like THC beer. Like that's a no-go
Never
for
tried
me.
that.
It tastes like, honestly, I don't like the taste of weed, and therefore I don't want to drink weed. So
That sounds like the
personally,
greatest combination I've ever heard of.
for me, I don't care for THC weed or CBD beer, THC beer, nothing like that.
They're different lanes. I want two different,
Yeah.
depending on which direction I want to go.
We have a lot of good Slee strands, like Slativa. I thought was
There
a good
we
one.
go.
Slee
Now.
Stack. All these are great.
Because everybody has
gotta ask
used
the audience.
Everybody has used "Hey, did you slee?" Like there's always been something with the slee part. I knew they would come up with something.
Glad somebody did.
I didn't.
All right. Draft night tonight. The Rams will not have a pick in the first round. Probably. They got 36 and 69 are their first two picks. The Chargers have a pick in the mid-20s. The Raiders pick number 7. Any surprises coming up tonight? That's Trav and Slee coming up next. 7
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
Listen to Travis and Sliwa more at 10 a.m.
And it is Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday. Coming up this hour in just a little bit, Factor Cap with producer Emily. That's at 11:30. And then at noon, our snake draft for the best trash TV, as we remember the great Jerry Springer, who passed away. Right now, more of Travis and Sliwa reacting to that Lakers loss on 710.
So, R.I.P. Jerry Springer, who was not the first trash TV guy, but maybe the most famous one. So we will do our snake draft coming up in about an hour from right now about our favorite trash TV shows. I was working at a different building on a different station. I was working for Rome at the time. And I had an office in this hallway that was connected to all of the studios. So Jim's studio was down there. Dr. Laura's studio was down there. Michael Reagan, who did a political talk show, he was down there. There was like a hallway that had 4 or 5 studios in it. Ryan Seacrest was down there. And occasionally people would come in and host their radio shows when they were in L.A. because we had a facility to host people. And I'm at my desk, and I'm working along, and I'm just doing my thing. I'm getting ready to do our show. And I see somebody walk into my doorway, and I look up, and it's a face that I recognize, but I can't place who it is. And he says to me, he goes, "Hey, excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but can you tell me where the men's room is? I don't know where it is." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's 2 rights and a left, and you'll be right there. You can't miss it." "Okay, great. Thank you very much." And he leaves, and I'm sitting in my office. I'm like, God, who?
I know who that guy is.
Why? That's somebody I should know who that is. I don't know who it is. So it starts. You know how I get. I get obsessed with not knowing these things, and so I'm like, I need to see his face again. I can't quite place it. I followed him to the men's room, followed him to go to the urinal next to him so I could get another glimpse of him. And I'm standing there, and I kind of look over, and I'm like, oh, it's Jerry Springer. So I have that moment with Jerry Springer. We're washing our hands or whatever. We chit-chat a little bit. Super wonderful, nice guy. But Jerry Springer walked into my office and asked where the men's room was one day, and I didn't recognize him, like, instantly. And this was
I was going to say, where 90s. Was he in the height of his...
He was Jerry Springer. He was selling those videos of people hitting each other with chairs. Like, he was at the peak of Jerry Springerdom. And I recognized him, but, they have that thing where, like, I know you know who you are. I just can't put my finger on who it is. Jerry Springer, so I had to go take a leak next to him.
Well, that's aggressive. I did not think you were going to be going.
I'm like, I needed, because I didn't know if I would see him again. And, like, he might have disappeared. I didn't know if he was coming or going or whatever it was. I needed to see it. In the second viewing, Jerry Springer.
That type of TV, what were the originals? I'm trying to think here. What kind of...
Like talk shows or trash talk shows?
A combination. Like, that kind of started that trend of...
That's very... So before that, you had like Donahue, right? That tried to be fairly intellectual and have real conversations. And they would get kind of silly at times. But Jerry was the one that just... What if we brought out 2 people to punch each other? Like, he was kind of the
Next
first
level.
one to do that. Same office, 2 doors down was Michael Reagan. And I hear, different morning, I hear, "Good morning, how you doing?" And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like exactly like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, but who is that good at doing Arnold? And I hear footsteps coming down the hallway, and hear it again. "How are you? Nice to meet you." And I'm like, wait, what the hell? What? Then also, my door, "Good morning, Arnold, nice to meet you." He was in there. He was running for governor at the time. He was there to do Michael Reagan. Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, just every door, "Stop. Good morning. How are you?" It was terrific.
That's actually a really good impression from you.
I've got it. All of my impressions are fantastic.
I'd say about 30% of them. That's one of your better ones.
Every last one. Let's try another phone call here. Let's go to Charlie in Los Angeles. Charlie, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, yeah, you know what? The Lakers, we have the talent to win it all this year. But we're going to go as far as our coach allows us to go. He's running AD and LeBron in the ground, bro. And then Lonnie Walker's not getting any run time. I don't know what's going on. And what's the purpose of picking up bigs if we're not going to use them?
So, Charlie, appreciate you calling in. Chad, I'm going to give you a theme that's happened in post-game show. We talk about rotations. First off, running LeBron and AD to the ground or in the ground, they don't really have a choice other than yesterday when you're down 24 and the game's over, right? That's one of the few times where you could say, I can conserve this player because the game's over. I get a lot of this, and I don't completely disagree. I don't think this is the difference of the game. Beasley played, I think, 10, 11 minutes yesterday. People are saying, why is Beasley playing 10, 11 minutes? I don't disagree. Beasley, I feel like since he's been traded to the Lakers, has hit 11 shots. Guy's not hitting shots. Lonnie Walker used to be a starter for the Lakers and then got injured, and the trade deadline happened, and now he doesn't get minutes. Mo Bamba, you went and got, and there's a lot of people saying, get a little bit more size in the middle, especially when AD's out. So if John Morant's going to the basket or Desmond Bain, at least they're trying to shoot over a 7-footer. There hasn't been enough of that where it's just, hey, this is not working. Let me try something different. I get it from those rotational purposes.
They're going to win or lose based on how their best players play. This is the playoffs. You're going to need a Rui Hachimura to have a night occasionally, right? You're going to need an Austin Reeves to have a night occasionally. But this isn't where all of a sudden you go deep into your bench. And, like, I think Lonnie Walker got in yesterday, and it was the first time he'd played since he played 30 seconds in game one. Something weird like that.
Yeah,
he just hasn't played.
Basically hasn't played. Yep.
I don't think, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Lonnie Walker. I don't think that's the answer.
The difference,
to this.
Yeah. Neither is Beasley.
No, the answer is LeBron can't play like that. Mm-hmm. It's not – they won because of him, but when he has a game like that, they're in deep trouble. You can't make that up. And Anthony Davis was pretty good last night. It just – your best players are going to determine whether or not you win in the playoffs. Occasionally, the reason that the Warriors won last night, Steph did what he always does. He got his 31. He was terrific. But Draymond and Clay stepped up. Draymond and Clay are the second and third best players on this team, or most important players.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. Giannis didn't have the answer last night, right? Trae Young, when they beat the Celtics the other night, went bonkers. You win games because your best players win you some games. And that 2-2-1 theory that we were talking about, okay, one, but you got to have to get those other two.
Say it again.
Your best player is going to win you two. Your second best player is going to win you one, and someone else is going to get you one.
Yeah, I still think that Lakers tomorrow, you do need contributions from your role players, but let's see if Bron and Anthony Davis can also have a game together. They haven't had a game together yet this series. And Memphis, I think last night was a perfect example. Last night, Memphis played good basketball. Their backcourt was really good. Jaren Jackson had 20 points or 18 points on top of what Desmond Bain and John Morant did. They played a good game of basketball, so they obviously were not under the impression that the series was going to end in 5.
More of your calls in a second. A couple of suggestions for our weed strains. Someone says mine could be animal style. That's from 805 Raider.
That's not bad at all.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. And yours could be Chaldean Kush.
I'll take that as well.
Not bad either, right? Good job, 805
Chaldeans
Raider.
have made some pretty good money on the Kush.
There you go. That's why you could slide in there. Big E says the Slee strain is more of a vape. It's very low key. So that's a good way to do it. See, they got your back, Al.
Got us covered.
Let's try Temple City and Dennis. Dennis, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, Trav and Slee. Love you guys. Love the show.
Thank you.
I wanted to piggyback off that last caller and Sliwa's point about Ham's rotation. It's like he's obsessed with small ball. You know, he brings in Rui for the first half. Rui goes 3 for 3 with 6 points. He only plays him 5 minutes in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, that was interesting. Rui's got a lot of time so far this series, and yesterday in that first half, it was kind of shocking because 5 minutes for Rui. That was different. Let's just put it that way. Maybe you got accustomed. You were hoping to. Some of your other players were going to contribute, whatever the case is, but Rui to get 5 minutes in the first half, I'm with him on that. Can I just go back to this? We can look at Darvin Ham, and we can talk about if this player came in, that player came in. Memphis was better than the Lakers yesterday, period.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the NBA, one team knows, guys, I really don't want to end the series here in Memphis. This is our final shot here.
Yep.
Are we going to get embarrassed on our home floor? In Memphis, remember I was telling you this? I wasn't sure if Memphis was going to have one of those moments. And there was a moment in the third quarter where it became a 1-point game where Memphis mentally would say, are we in for this fight? Do we really want to go back to L.A.? Is this just a matter of time until we're out of the series? Memphis showed none of that yesterday. Memphis, we're going back to L.A.
I'm glad you said that. Memphis beat the Lakers last night. The Lakers didn't blow it. The Lakers didn't choke at the end of the game. The Lakers didn't.
They're a good team.
They're the second seed for a reason.
They had the most home wins in the NBA.
And they played well yesterday, and they beat the Lakers. it's not that they blew it by not using it. They beat them. A good team played well and beat a good team that didn't play well. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
My complaint is not should this guy play, should that. It's what the hell were LeBron and AD doing in the game with 10 minutes to go. That my only criticism of last night is the thing that is most beneficial to them, rest and time. You had an opportunity to increase rest and time, and you chose not to do it. That's my criticism. Not use Lonnie Walker more, use Mo Bamba more, use Michael Beasley less. They're not Michael Beasley, Malik Beasley. Yep. See, this is my Josh Fields moment. Michael Beasley and Josh Fields.
Stop saying Josh Fields is going to stick in your head more.
Was there a Michael Beasley that played for the Dodgers?
No, but Michael Beasley. Can I tell this is one of my favorite stories of all time.
Let's do it.
This is one of my favorites.
Michael Beasley is a former Laker.
Yeah, he is a former Laker.
Yeah.
But Michael Beasley coming out of Kansas State, I believe, right, and was the second or third pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA had a summit for its rookie players that was titled something like Rookie Summit, had his very official sounding name, but it was basically the don't smoke weed and have girls in your room summit, because this is how things go bad. You know why Michael Beasley got sent home from that summit? For smoking weed and having girls in his room.
Yep.
It's terrific.
Sounds like Michael Beasley.
And if this wasn't one of these, we got a huge problem here. And maybe he should be able to do that. Fine, but not there, right? This is that. Listen, the only thing you can't do. I know this is a really stupid rule. This is a really stupid rule. But what you can't do if you're going to work here is you can't eat a Denver omelet on a Tuesday. I know it's weird, but you can't. Okay? He ordered a Denver omelet on the next Tuesday. It's like, it's just like, really? The one thing we're here to talk about is the one thing that you're going to do?
You get everything you want. Just don't
you can have
that
one on Monday.
Denver
you can have it on
omelet
Wednesday. You
on
can have it
Tuesday.
whenever. You just
funny.
can't do it on a Tuesday. I get it. It's weird, but we're just trying to see if you're paying attention. Don't order it on. I'll take the Denver omelet. It's just so weird to me. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Cinco de Mayo coming up a week from tomorrow, and ESPN LA is taking over Salitas Tacos and Margaritas in Anaheim for a Cinco de Mayo fiesta. We're giving away Angels tickets, Mandy Awards tickets, Salita gift cards, and more starting at 10 o'clock with me and Slee, Mason and Ireland right after that, and then, of course, Sedano and Cap. All the entire 710 crew at Anaheim's hottest new restaurant, Salita Tacos and Margs. Light the fire within and feed your soul. NFL draft tonight, Slee. Rams, because they never do not have a pick in the first round. They pick 36th overall early in the second round. The Raiders have the 7th pick. The Arizona Cardinals are reportedly taking offers to move up and take their 3rd pick. The Raiders desperately need a quarterback. It does appear that there are more than 2 quarterbacks in this draft. You got Young, you've got Stroud, that appear are going to go 1-2 in some order to Carolina and Houston. They both need quarterbacks. Do the Raiders kick the tires on that? Do the Raiders because, or you say, nope, I don't. Will Levis or the kid from Florida, help me out here, Emily. Anthony Richardson. I'm going to call him Anthony Bennett, I'm sure. Anthony Richardson. Do you say, I don't like that guy, I'm going to sit where I am, I'll wait for another draft? Or, hey, we got a chance to move into 3. We're going to get a pick of a guy. We need a quarterback. I still think, I know I'm crazy, I still think the Raiders were a pretty good team last year. I know that they weren't, but I think that the quarterback play really handicapped them. Could the Raiders slide into that spot?
Funny, when you think of, and the NFL draft, sometimes what do? You just kind of, we need this position, and we're going to fill it because that player fills that position. But it doesn't mean it's the best player on the board. It doesn't mean it's a guy that, let's say you're not crazy about. There are obviously guarantees in the NFL draft that you're like, all right, I know this guy is going to go, this is your top 3 pick. We kind of know the structure of what it is. After that, it's kind of, well, I didn't know Miami was going to take this player. This player dropped off. What's the preference? Is the preference, I want the best talent that's left on the board, or am I saying to myself, I need this, so I'm coming in to slot that specific person there? In the NBA, in the NFL, I think a lot of times we see, I need this guy specifically, that's why I'm taking him, even though I don't think he's better than somebody else that plays a different position.
Need over talent.
That's always, I think, the question. And I think if you're a team that you're that far away from being competitive, don't you take talent over need and then figure it out from there?
I think that's a really good question, and it leads to the other question that the Rams have gone the other way. Do you take picks or do you take players? That's coming up next, plus more of your Laker phone calls. It's straight ahead. It's Travis Lee, 7.
today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What we're doing on Cinco de Mayo. Going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Salitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium, used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day, gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar.
We're all
right
going
now.
to be there, right?
That's the 5th of May.
Yes,
Cinco de
I know.
Mayo. The 5th
No,
of May.
actually.
On LA's mega sports station, LA Sports Talk all day long. 710 ESPN.
Rough day for Julio Urias and the Dodgers in Pittsburgh again. They're down 6-2, headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. That game's going to be completed in about an hour and a half. It's just cranking by. It's 2 in a row for Julio. Two. Look, this is one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah.
And those are back-to-back, not just not very good outings, but straight-up bad outings. Not a big deal, but back-to-back bad outings from the guy who's your best pitcher. It's not great.
No, I think there's a lot of, especially when he takes the mound, it's this, all right, there's a good chance this is a W. That's 2 straight games. You just look bad. That's the best way to put it. They're hitting him, and they're hitting him
hard.
Hitting him hard, and even some of those outs just got a little lucky that they went to somebody.
Yeah, they're a weird team. They're a really, really weird team. We'll see how this one ends up. But
got to get health. They need Muncy, Will Smith. They need these guys back.
They need those guys for sure. But even when Will Smith and Muncy were playing, today, if this score holds, let's just say it ends at 6-2, and maybe it will, maybe it won't. The Dodgers have already scored 3 or fewer runs 11 times. This would make 12. They've only played. This is their 26th game of the season. You're scoring 3 or fewer runs in half of your games. That's no bueno, right? I know Julio pitched bad today, and their bullpen's been a problem as well. But this is not just, hey, they hit a lot of home runs and it's boom or bust. This is, you are a inept offensive team roughly half the time. That's never been the case. And I guess if you're Andrew Friedman and you're Dave Roberts, you're trying to figure out, is this a real deep fundamental problem with this roster, or is this something when Muncy comes back, when Smith comes back, that you just push
Balances
those
it
guys
out.
a little deeper? Austin Barnes is batting under 100, right? You've got a guy, Chris Taylor is struggling. Trace is struggling. You just got guys that are not producing at all. Is it a bad start, or is it you need to go find some different guys?
Where do you lean on that? If you're asking yourself that question.
60-40 bad start, but it's 60-40. It's not 90-10. They have the back third of their order is not good. And part of it is you got so used to having that all-star team that they had for so long that this is more normal. But you can't have guys hitting under 100 playing regularly. You can't have a bunch of guys hitting under 200 playing regularly.
And Outman will probably go back to normal, right?
Yeah.
Whatever average is, just because he got off to such a hot start.
This is why I'm not worried. Okay, what's today? April 27th.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres are in a position to run away and hide with this division. And I know they won yesterday, and they're only 500. I think they're 13-13 or 12-12, whatever it is. This is the worst version of the Padres that you're going to see. Manny Machado's hitting 200.
Nothing.
Juan Soto's hitting
nothing.
like 190-something.
Mm-hmm.
Cronenworth's bad. Kim is bad. That this is as bad as they're going to be, and they're 500. I don't think this is as bad as the Dodgers can be. I think this is kind of what they are. Freddie's fine. Mookie's fine. Outman's been really good. Your starting pitching, for the most part, has been pretty good.
Sure. Kershaw's been great in his starts.
And you're 500. The Padres are playing as bad as they can, and they're 500. The Dodgers are kind of what they are, and they're 500. Padres just get a little bit better, and they start creating a ton of space.
Yeah, I know yesterday we were going, and I thought about it yesterday when I was telling you how bad they've been offensively, how bad their stars have been, how little amount of home runs they've hit, how their batting average was the worst in Major League Baseball. And it's fair what you said immediately, like, Al, but look how many things have gone wrong, and it's not like they're 4 games out. What an incredible catch right there.
Yeah, that Trace just made a beauty.
It's not like they're 5 games out already. It's not that. It's, hey, they're within a game of the top of the division is the best way to put it. Their run differential is awful. I saw it's a great catch. Great catch. I saw your point where, to me, it was there's expectations right out the gate for the Padres. It's, wait a minute, why aren't they, if they're 12-12 right now, why are they not closer to 16-8 or something? Just speaking at it, you know what, that's what you expected, and none of that has happened. I could see the optimism. I will say this.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's I haven't studied for a test yet, and I'm getting C+. I haven't even opened the book. I'm just walking into the class. If I even read a chapter, I'm getting A's. That's what the Padres are.
I will say this. Soto has been bad.
And
that's coming from last year as well with the Padres.
I'll take him.
I know that.
Send him on up. He's going to be fine. He's going to have a month where he hits 500. He's going to have a month where he hits 14 home runs. He's going to have a month where you literally can't get him out other than when he knocks over the second baseman with a line drive. He's that dude.
You know what I watched yesterday?
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Which one?
Emily, I saw Shut Up and Dance.
Wild, right?
I don't think my girl will ever watch something with me.
I don't know the names of these episodes.
Okay, so
what is
it's the one where
the pig?
Nope. It's this guy is being blackmailed, and he has to go complete tasks with other people who are also being blackmailed, and you don't know what he did until the end.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah,
you may have seen that one.
Skip that one.
Yeah, it's a
little heavy.
Did you like it?
It was, my girl said, you know how on Netflix they just all immediately start another episode? She's like, yeah, we're done with that. I'm like, sounds good.
Oh, she was out.
Yeah, it was.
They're all dark, though. They're all that dark.
That one was dark, especially with us not knowing, because I'm telling her, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the show is. They said to watch it, blah, blah. She said this episode, it was between Nosedive, I think is the other one you said?
Nosedive is a little more palatable.
Okay, and this one was just right out the gate. My girl's like, what's going on here? What's happening at that studio? I'm like, I don't know. They just told me to watch it. It's a good show. The concept, the idea, is very creative, but it's also dark.
Yeah, it's about the end of the world.
I thought it was more.
The end of the world. It's about technology.
It's about technology ending our humanity.
It's about technology doing
then you
more
have
to
to
us
tell
than we
me
do.
which episode that one would be, where it leans more towards that, because this episode was not tech. Yes, there's technology involved, but it's not like what he's saying. Correct? This specific episode.
Yeah, kind of. They're all just kind of saying, like, technology brings out the worst in all of us, and every episode talks about that in a different way.
Yeah.
So That's it.
So I got the Lakers loss, and then I followed it up with a
double whammy, right?
You're never going to leave a Black Mirror episode being like,
get up a little earlier and start your day with one of these and see how it goes.
Look at Sliwa's eyes.
6 a.m.
I'm
you're
like, hey
sitting
guys,
there watching the one. Emily, what's the episode where I don't remember it like you do? Is John Hammond one of these?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called. I think it's called White Christmas.
Yeah. That one is about time.
That one's really dark though,
and it's super dark, and it will. Give that one a shot.
But it's a long episode, just so you know. It is. I think it's like 90 minutes.
Yeah, first season was only, I think, like 3 episodes.
Yeah, they're all really
like
short because it's originally a BBC show, and so BBC shows are always short, and or seasons are always short. So it's BBC adapted to the Netflix model, and I think that there's not going to be an episode where you get out and be like, wow, I feel good. Every episode makes you feel worse about yourself.
It's not an I feel good sort of show. It's not that you're thinking, you know what, we're going to be okay. Everything's going to work out great.
Yeah.
It's
a little dark.
They're all dark. It's called Black Mirror for a reason. It's a black reflection of our reality.
The Rams have 36, 69. Raiders have 7. The Chargers are somewhere in the 20s. It's not important to the Chargers. I would be really intrigued to see what the Raiders do with this because they need a quarterback, or is it that they have a new crew in there, right? The John Gruden crew was terrible at drafting. Their draft picks, the guys they got that turned out to be halfway decent, they got deeper in the draft. Their high picks turned out to be pretty ineffective. I'd love to see them start to put together something around a quarterback. I know that the Carr was like the worst case scenario, right? By being just good enough,
sure, yeah,
you kind of talk yourself into. Yeah, I think we're going to be. You're not.
Is that not the average team?
That's the worst
that
case
is
scenario.
Not tanking or competing, right?
Exactly. And the Raiders don't seem to have the Rams, for better or for worse. And if for the last 4 or 5 years, it was for the better, and then last year you got it for the worse.
Yeah.
They have a very clear philosophy: picking college players that may or may not be good. We're not interested. Give me Jalen Ramsey. Picking college players that may or may not be good, not that interested, give me Von Miller. That they went about that in a very specific way, and it hit. The Raiders, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know.
But the Rams, would you agree, they were in a position that was the timing of what they were doing was the right timing. Sometimes teams try to do that, and it's like you're not in that window. You're not.
But then you better pick the right guys. If you're going to do that, you can't be taking Cleveland Farrell with the 3rd overall pick, a guy you could have gotten in the 2nd round or maybe even beyond that. If you're going to use those picks, you better pick an Aaron Donald. You better pick a Todd Gurley. You better pick a Jared Goff, who I know we kind of make fun of him. He was fine.
Goff's having a good career.
Yes. Exactly. He. If you said, is he Peyton Manning? No. Is he Ryan Lee? No, he's fine. He's been a starter in the league since the moment he showed up, more or less. Has won a lot more games than he lost. He turned around a team that was terrible in L.A. and made them very, very good. He took a team in Detroit that was terrible and made them decent. That was a good pick. They're good at picking guys near the top of the draft. They've only had a couple of weird ones, and I wonder if that's what we're going to be talking about a year from today. Like a year from today, are we saying, hey, listen, they do have the making it up 4th pick in the draft, 3rd pick, 1st pick in the draft. Now it's Caleb Williams. Now it's whoever they decide is the difference maker, because for the last 5-6 years with the Rams, the draft where everyone else goes nuts with the Rams, it's like, yeah, okay, they got who in the 3rd round? Cam Akers, 2nd round? Okay.
Are you big NFL draft guy?
When you have a 1st round pick, yeah. I'm not an NFL draft guy down. Slee, it's the 2nd most highly rated NFL event of the season behind the Super Bowl.
I know.
It's a big deal. You know what it is a big deal for? Bad teams.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a bad team, and
there's some hope.
Jacksonville
gives you some hope.
What else are you going to get excited about?
Yeah.
Jacksonville, they've been here 20 plus years now. They don't have any games to get excited about. They've got picks to get excited about. The Rams had games to get excited about.
Yeah, it's funny because I only bring that up because the hype that comes with the NFL draft, and if you're not into it, you're paying not that close attention to it. I get it when you had a high pick. I remember back in the days, right, where the Chargers, it was picking Eli Manning, and Eli's like, yeah, I don't want to play for you guys. It's like, oh, that's comfortable.
Doesn't happen very often.
It was trading the Michael Vick pick, remember? And it was LaDainian Tomlinson, and you got Drew Brees out of it. it's those high picks that you get so excited about. Further down you get, it's like, I don't know what players these are.
Nobody does.
Yeah, nobody.
I
know.
I don't even think the GMs do. Take the center from Alabama. Who is it? I don't know. Him. That guy. The guy that played for Nick Saban for 3 years.
Call him.
Give me him. Well, they have two. The taller one.
How do you pronounce his name?
The guy, the left-handed guy. Give me that guy along the way. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
It is Travis and Sliwa. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's Cap. That's so Cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, another good strand for Travis is along the way. Can I get the along the way, please?
I'll take that. Sure.
Yeah.
Where your head just goes into
Just go along the way.
Just go along.
Yeah, and again, Slee, every single Black Mirror is going to be dark. It's a dark show. It's never going to be a happy ending. So
All
you're
right,
gonna have to
is
get used
that
to it if
one
you
one
wanna
of the
watch it.
darker ones? Of
I
the
can't-
dark ones?
They're all really dark.
It's like Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say they're all on the same level of darkness, besides maybe Nosedive. And that one's not as bad.
It's like partly cloudy.
All right, so my friends are planning a wedding, and they're kind of having a debate between themselves about DJ versus live band. So DJ is always better than a live band at a wedding. Travis, Factor Cap.
Cap. A DJ's fine, and you have a good time with a DJ, but you get the right band. Live music is awesome.
But you can also get a bad band.
Yeah, you might, but you do a little bit of homework. You're going to find somebody that's probably pretty good. It is more expensive. You know why? Because it's better. It is. There's a reason a Mercedes is more than a Kia, right? It's a better car. And a live band has a vibe and energy to it that is so much fun. I think, Taylor, I texted you this a couple weeks ago. I don't go seek out live music a ton, but when I run into it, it's always awesome. Even if the guy or girl that's performing is only okay, it's still a lot of fun to go see in person. Give me the live band 100 times out of 100.
So I think initially I was going to lean towards DJ. Trav, that was a pretty good pitch. Got to be honest with you. The only reason why I was going to go DJ, so I'm going to go fact on this on a live band, is because, you get more variety. You can it's different styles of
Cap.
music. You could.
DJ is better
Oh,
than
yeah, Cap. That you get a little bit more variety. You can kind of pick and choose. Maybe it's hip-hop. Maybe it's a little bit of rock. Maybe it's this. You kind of get all that. But there is an energy that a live band has that you cannot mimic. And people are paying more attention. And it gives off a vibe that's a better vibe. So,
Taylor?
I think that if you want a live band, then you're going for like a little classier feel, and if you want a DJ, you're a little trashier. It just depends on what style wedding it is,
Yep.
Trashy.
Yep.
That's a big word.
At my wedding,
the DJs out there,
At
bring
my
out the
wedding,
trash.
trashy wedding.
we had a DJ.
Yeah,
and
it's
it
a
was
trashy wedding,
and it was fun. And apparently, we're white trash scumbags that get a DJ. So I mean, what do I know?
We had natty ice lights.
At my brother's wedding, they had a band. It was amazing, and they just absolutely cranked, and it was terrific. And I wish I had that band.
You're trash.
Hey, I've been a wedding DJ before. I've done that, and it was kind of like I said,
Trashy.
yeah.
I think you can do a happy medium and have the reception be live band and have like a DJ or even just like a playlist.
Somebody's just
Emily
look at all that money
Rockefeller
over
I'm just
there.
saying
right?
a post the
Must be
after
nice.
after show after party.
Just
What
give
do
me
I
both.
owe you? Huh?
I'll take the salmon and the fillet.
Okay.
Just give me both.
A playlist for the after party is not you don't have to pay for that. You can just play off a speaker.
Apparently, you
Can
want
I-
live music for
You
the
guys
after
know how
party.
much I like weddings, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Never been to a wedding after party. Never.
That does not surprise me.
I feel like I'm missing something. That sounds
Okay,
kind
I'm
of
going to
fun.
tell you why I haven't either. Our weddings
Your
go
weddings go till
long.
3 o'clock in the morning.
It's no joke. It's 1:30.
I know it is.
1:30.
I know.
At 12:10, you're like, we could wrap it up, guys.
I've been to a couple of wedding after parties. It's fun. Okay.
It sounds fun.
It's a good
That's what I'm
time.
saying. I'm not saying because I don't want to go.
Just hasn't been invited.
I do want to go.
Yeah, he just hasn't been
Absolutely.
invited to one of those.
Come on, Trav. All right, so I have been watching the new season of Survivor as it's been coming out, and I usually binge Survivor season and like find out everything in a matter of like essentially 2 days. So you would rather binge a show than watch it week to week? Al, Fact or Cap?
Cap. I like spreading it out a little bit, and I think just time wise, if you get a good hour in of a good show, the most I could do is one more episode. After that, it's like, all right, tomorrow night we'll watch it again. Like I think that gives you something to look forward to. So no binging for me.
Trav?
Well, what you asked is like the once a week thing versus the binge. Is that
Yep.
what we're talking about? Once a week, for sure. Like think about how we talk about Succession. Think about, I know that you're a Game of Thrones person. Go back to Better Call
Good
Saul.
lead up.
Right? That
Yeah.
you get the moment to kind of break it down with the other people that like the show. And nobody's ahead of anybody else. You either are current or you probably don't watch the show. And Succession right now is the most popular show on TV. Everybody that is into that show is waiting for Sunday night for that thing to roll around. There's something about that anticipation. There's something about the collective
Momentum.
experience. And I really do think it's the collective. We don't have a lot of those where we're what's it called, monoculture, where we're all kind of doing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Those don't exist very much anymore outside of sports.
Live
It's like
sports.
kind of the last
You're
one.
right. You're right.
And so give me the once a week thing, the analog way of doing it.
Taylor?
Fact, yeah, I would rather binge it, but I always appreciate when I'm forced to wait, I guess, if a show doesn't all come out at once or whatever. I did that recently with The Last of Us. That was good to spread out. And then Jury Duty, too. I watched that.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I watched, I think, the first 3 or 4, 5 episodes. I don't know how many were
Yeah,
out.
they dropped 5 and then,
And then they made you wait for the last 2. And that's just something to look forward to in life.
Yeah, by the way, Jury Duty is the funniest show that I've seen in several years. It's the concept is that it's a trial, but everything's fake. They're all actors except for one person, and that one person doesn't know it's a.
Is it
show.
another jury member that's not in on it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's one singular jury guy, and he probably is the most wholesome man that's ever walked the earth, and he makes my heart happy. So, shout out to you, Ronald. He's
So
great.
Jury Duty over Black
I was going to say, watch Black Mirror. get the rope to end it all, and then watch it. Then watch an episode of Jury Duty to make it all go away.
All right, there you
You'll
go.
be great. You'll be doing well. All right, so is it Drew Maggi or Maggie?
I think it's Maggie.
Okay, Drew Maggi is having. Is it his first start today or his first start yesterday?
He got his first at bat the other day. I think
Right.
today is his first start.
Okay, so first start today. And so, I'm sure his family is in attendance and you want as many people as possible to come see you because who knows if this is ever going to happen again. But I want you guys to put yourself in the shoes of Drew Maggi. You probably don't have a lot of money. You're making ends meet.
Been
all
in the
good
minor
stuff.
leagues for 13 years. He doesn't have
Yeah.
a nickel to rub together.
Right, exactly. So, your people are probably asking for tickets / for you to buy your tickets. So, you would draw the line of paying for your immediate family members to come and see you play your first start in the majors. So that means just mom, dad, siblings. That's your immediate family. So Taylor, fact or cap?
Fact. I don't know. I feel like they would pay for it. I don't know. Why do you have to let them?
A lot of times they don't pay for everything, but I don't know who knows your family. They may want help.
Do they comp you tickets? I wonder.
Sometimes, not always.
I mean, if you're that.
By the way,
if you're that inexperienced, probably not.
This is a great question.
Pittsburgh had plenty of seats.
It's.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Plenty of seats.
You can't pay $15 to come.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Trev?
I want everybody that's ever helped me get to that place at that game.
Yep.
And you're paying for it?
And if I have to go into my own pocket to do it, I would do it. Even if it means I got to put a little credit card debt or whatever it might be. But I want my mom and dad there. I want my brother there.
Yeah.
I want if I'm close to my cousins, I want them there. My high school coach, your college coach, your best friend. You only get one of these.
Yep.
You only get one first day in the major leagues. And this dude, who's been in the minors forever, I'm not here to ruin anybody's fun. That guy's going back down. He's never coming back. That's exactly what's going to happen. I would do everything I can to get anybody that was important to me to one of those games.
Yeah, I'm cap on this one too, where it's. I got a credit card. How high does it go? Because this is it. Like you basically you played for as long as you did to get a moment to go up.
Yes.
And if that moment's going to end later today or tomorrow or whatever the case is, you can say 20, 30, 50 years from now, I had all the people that I wanted there, and I still haven't paid off that credit card.
And very quickly, just going to throw this one in here, too, because you and I are on the same page here.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to take on but while he's in the big leagues, he's making big league money. Okay, so he's made, I think the major league minimum right now, I believe, is $700,000. So he's getting a prorated version of whatever $700,000 annual is. For every day he's in the big league, he gets a prorated version of that, right? So he has some money coming in, at least in the very short term. When he goes back, they turn the spigot off like that. But I would take all of my big league money to make sure everybody I cared about was there.
All right, so one of my roommates is currently, she kind of does like gig work. She goes from like movie to movie because she works as a costumer. But right now there's the writer's strike, so there's not as much movie, TV out there to work for. So she's been a personal assistant for the past couple months for two YouTubers. So I'm not going to reveal whom they are, but they're YouTubers.
Can I ask a really stupid question?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Just being a personal assistant or a YouTuber?
No, a YouTuber.
Somebody that has a channel, that has show, consistent
Make content. Yeah.
Jake Paul.
Subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's had to do a lot of interesting stuff as a personal assistant, and it seems really draining / really annoying. So again, another life. This is the only option you have is to be a personal assistant. You would never be a personal assistant. Travis, fact or cap?
I think that's fact. I would not function well in that role. I have a. It's not a zero tolerance for no, I'm not going to do that, but I do have a line where no, I'm not going to. I don't like you said, Em. She's had to do some weird things. I'll do a few things, but if it's nothing but these really weird, degrading, awkward, I'm just going to go find something else to do. That's not for me.
Al?
Cap to the point where, listen, if you're doing stuff where I'm like my self-worth and my respect.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay, then we're done.
Yeah.
But there are people that have started in positions like that and have a relationship, whoever there's that, hey, this actually can grow into something. You're going to do this. I'm going to teach you the ropes on that. If it's I could see something in the future where I could benefit from this position, awesome. If it's none of that, ain't happening. So I guess it just depends on the gig.
Taylor?
Cap, I think I would do this. I'd have to be close to the person or have some kind of, I don't know, rapport with them where I would hope they wouldn't put me in those kind of uncomfortable situations. But yeah, I'm not opposed to this.
Emily, can you give us an example of some of the awkward things they had to do, or will it give it away?
Can you send us the link to the
a lot
YouTube
of
page?
things had to do with obviously just like running errands for them.
That's fine.
At one point in time, she had to cook for them.
That's fine.
There's some stuff that would reveal who they are, so I'm not going to go into that and blow up her spot. But it is some embarrassing things.
You need to come.
But that
with...
stuff, I even that right there, what she just said, I'd be like, why am I cooking for you? I don't understand. I'm not a personal chef.
Because I'm paying you.
But if they said, hey, listen, I'm not going to get home till really late. Can you make sure there's food in the house before I come home? And would you mind putting together a couple? That just kind of falls under the umbrella of, I need you to do all the odds and ends that I can't get done in my day. I'm not going to put on the chef's whites and the toque.
Yeah, I think I just got fired because I'm already now like, why am I doing this?
My thing would be, hey, I have a doctor's appointment today, and I need you to come in and hold my hand while you're getting your prostate exam. No, I'm out. I quit.
That sounds like a very specific.
Well, it's front of mind. We got 3:15 now. 3:15. That's enough. I'd rather hear the Larry the Cable Guy. That's probably more accurate, but we're not doing it. Lakers lose in Memphis. Milwaukee's out.
Milwaukee's out, bro.
NBA when we come back. It's Travis Lee, 710.
Today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What we're doing on Cinco de Mayo. Going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Salitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium. Used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day. Gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar
We're all
right now.
going to be there, right?
That's the 5th of May.
Yes,
Cinco de
I know.
Mayo. The 5th
No,
of May.
actually.
Is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Another suggestion for your strain, Slee. You ready?
Yeah.
For Yosemite Slee.
I'm in.
That feels like, but Yosemite Sam was crazy and aggressive. He's shooting his guns all the time. He's going wild.
Yeah.
That's not your jam.
Yeah, but this is the indica version. So it's very relaxing. It's out in the woods. It's looking at the trees.
Oh, you're going Yosemite
going
as
Yosemite
in,
Park.
like the park.
Yeah.
But doesn't the Yosemite Slee conjure up images of Yosemite Sam?
Yes, but
I don't know. When I
think
hear
you can do
Yosemite,
whatever you wanna
that
do.
matches. That's a.
I know it matches for you,
falls
but
in-
again, we got to.
But it's a Sliwa strain.
Wide consumer. We got to sell it. We can't. You
Screw
know what I mean?
them.
We don't
we're
want
not
it to,
making
we
any
don't want it to
money.
sit in the shelf and have nobody buy it. Like, I don't want to go crazy and start going all wild trying to
More
catch
for
Daffy
us.
Duck. I need to chill out. Maybe you put a picture of a tree on it or something.
Yeah.
Or what's that giant rock in Yosemite? Half Dome? Is that what
Half
that
Dome.
is?
Is that Half Dome? Yeah, Half Dome's there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it is
in
Half Dome.
Yosemite, right?
Yeah.
I'm basically a national park expert. What else you want to know?
We know. We know.
Seems like a lot of work. Kind of far. They should put one in Laguna Niguel.
It's like 5-6 hours to get out there. Sequoia as well, right? I'm with you. It's just far enough. You're like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's kind of far.
Zion's only 6 hours
How
away.
about state parks?
You go to Zion, same time that you're going out to Sequoia.
Why am I not shocked that Milwaukee as a number 1 seed is out? Because we've said this a million times that the NBA, the better team almost always wins a 7-game series, right? And the better team almost always wins the 1-8 matchup. I think this was the 5th or 6th time it's happened in a 7-game series. It does not happen very often, and yet what happened yesterday with the Bucks and the Heat did not feel shocking. It's surprising, but the fact that it went 5 or 4-1,
that was shocking to me.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't for me.
Is there any team that's more reliant on one player than the Bucks are on Giannis?
So maybe this is why it was more shocking to me. Yeah, the Heat's a good answer. I think that's why it's more shocking to me. I've watched Milwaukee play games, and yeah, Giannis is going to do his thing, but so is Middleton, so is Holiday, so is Brook Lopez, so is some of these other
Bryce
players.
Allen the ball at the end.
Yeah, I know. They didn't even get a shot off. But they had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. Jimmy Butler sending the game in overtime. I don't even know what that play that was, how he caught the ball and shot it at the same time.
Right.
They just were – it had a weird vibe. It's like, I think Milwaukee's going to win.
Weird vibe for sure, but go back to the first game where Giannis fell, right, and landed on his butt and hurt his back. And I was telling you guys the story about when I got hip checked and hurt my tailbone. It's a terrible injury. It really is incredibly painful and everything else. And then they lose that game. You're like, it's just one game. Then they won without Giannis in game 2. Giannis came back after that, and he was in every game, and they lost them all.
I know.
That's why, had it been Giannis missed this whole thing, and we got to game 7, and it's 3-3, and now Giannis is coming back, you lose, that would be surprising to me. But Giannis was basically there for this.
But that's the surprising part. They played in Miami, were up double digits, and fell apart at the end of the game. Played in Milwaukee, up double digits, fell apart at the end of the game. What did you take anything from Giannis's post interview? So for those who don't know, he was asked by a reporter, was this season a failure? And it was that simple of a question.
Mm-hmm.
And Giannis gave a pretty long response there.
Here it is.
Got there? Go.
Yeah.
Do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, and if you've never, I don't want to make it personal, there's always steps to it, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me.
Ready?
Love his answer. It was a failure. I get his answer. I love the explanation, the whole
get his
thing.
Answer. Look, get ready for another thing I say all the time. 2 things can be true at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
That this is. I like the answer as a human being. I like the perspective of a person on Earth who understands that the world is not binary. The world is not success or failure. There are journeys. There are steps in a process. There are things that you can take and learn to apply to the next thing that you have to go do. And it is an incredibly healthy way to live. And I'm sure that Giannis is going to have a long, happy, healthy life, both physically and mentally. He has wonderful perspective.
Yeah.
The very last thing that sports fans want to hear when you're the best team in the NBA during the regular season, you have the very best record, you're playing a team that lost their play-in game, had to go into another play-in game, and they beat you 5-1, is that it's not a failure. Nobody wants to listen to that.
Can I give you?
It's like the Dodgers.
I'm going to give you.
Nobody wants to listen.
I'm going to give you that example exactly. Let's say after the Dodgers lose to the Padres, that a mic comes in front of Dave Roberts. Hey, was this season a failure? Wait. So you've been in all the other things that you've done in your life.
Right.
When pick any team out there, is every year that Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez win, was it a failure? You were the team expected to win.
Mm-hmm.
You were the team that's expected to obviously go deep into the playoffs. Now, if you lost in the NBA Finals, this, that, maybe for the Padres who ended up losing later in the playoffs, they can say, you know what, it wasn't a failure, and let me tell you why. We have not got this far. It's been this long, so this. You can add all the storylines to it. For the Dodgers, it was a failure. For the Milwaukee Bucks, it was a failure. I get the big picture. I understand what you're doing, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't think the question was unfair.
You know,
like Dave said,
but nobody's asking the questions unfair. It's
his response to it.
He got defensive, and he backed it off. He even said in the middle of his answer, "I don't want to make this personal because
he was very respectful.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is absolutely.
But what people want is what Tiger Woods said. When Tiger Woods showed up, but Tiger Woods hadn't hit a shot as a professional golfer, and I think it was on ESPN. Curtis Strange, who was a longtime tour pro, won the U.S. Open a couple times, very accomplished player, was interviewing him and asked him about what his expectations as a pro were going to be. And Tiger's response was, second place sucks. That's what people want to hear. That I'm not here to learn and grow and figure this out. They want to hear I'm here to do the whole thing. And especially if you're Tiger Woods, especially if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're not in your second year. You won the championship a couple of years ago. You're a two-time MVP. You have a championship pedigree. You have a really good team. You just had the best season of anybody in the league.
Different rules for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the Miami Heat are having a successful season. They could get beat by, they play the Knicks next.
Yeah.
They could get beat by the Knicks, which I don't think they will. And it's like, look, we kind of were floating around 500 most of the year. We got hot at the right time. It's a good year. For the Bucks, it's a huge failure.
And Giannis got almost muscled out by someone else who seemed to want it more. Jimmy Butler wanted that win last night, and he willed his team to win last night. And he's tough. I don't think we can understate how much of an impact Jimmy Butler made on that game and just showed up Giannis, potentially the best player in the NBA.
Jimmy Butler, we were talking about this morning.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is the first pick in the best player plus toughness draft. He's number one. He's because he's not the best player in the league, right? Jokic is better, Embiid is better, Giannis is better, Steph is better. But when it comes to really, really good and maybe the last guy in the league I want to mess with or challenge, Jimmy Butler's your number one draft choice.
Remember, his frustration in other places is, I don't know if they play hard enough. I don't remember when he was in Minnesota. He's in Miami now. With Chicago.
Okay, after Chicago, before Minnesota. In Philly,
that's right.
Tolerate Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Yep.
And guess what?
Yep.
Guess who was right about that? He's not messing around. If you're not about it.
But is Miami not the perfect? These are the kind of destinations, and that's why Miami's going after
This run
Jimmy
is similar
Butler.
to their 2020 run.
We were talking. Gabe Vincent, Go Gauchos, is a guy that he might be in the league, but in Miami, he's an important part of what they do because he does that kind of stuff.
Styles
he's tough,
make fights.
And Jimmy Butler is the ultimate of that. And Giannis should be very, very happy that he won a title a couple of years ago. Because let's say they lose to the Suns there, and just not that he blows it or anything, but they just lose. They lose in 6 or 7 games.
Sure.
Giannis's playoff resume at that point is not great. Add this to a championship list career.
Yeah, no, it can't happen.
It's a really bad. We're talking about him in a very specific way that one title kind of takes him out.
Yeah, I agree. No, listen, there's because he cashed it in. It's not all that different. Use that as an example. Lakers cashing in 2020, right? Anthony Davis has one under his belt. Let's say Lakers didn't win in 2020. What's your conversation about Anthony Davis or the LeBron experiment? When you win one, it quiets everything down.
Jerry Springer died earlier today, and in honor of Jerry, we're doing a trash TV snake draft. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
Here we go. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Thursday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long, live and local. Well, that was tough last night. I told Slee last night, as I whispered to him during the Lakers postgame show, that this was coming. Then he said, well, why don't you play this one? Either way, Lakers' tough loss last night. They could have closed it out. They don't. Series comes back to Crypto.com for Game 6 tomorrow night. Of course, we'll be all over it right here on your Lakers playoff station, 710 ESPN. Plus, Giannis spoke, and he was all fired up. Sure, we'll get to that. And the NFL draft tonight. Live from Kansas City, we will bring you coverage thanks to your SoCal Hyundai dealers starting at 7 p.m. tonight, right after Shidano and Cap. And all day tomorrow, you'll hear rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL draft on our sister station 11:10 a.m. when Travis's LA Rams and your LA Rams get on the board in the second and third rounds. So, that's what we got for your Thursday. Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday right now.
Slee, I don't know if I'd be thrilled or mortified if you heard the dun 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 draft pick music and say the Arizona Cardinals have traded the third pick in the draft to the Los Angeles Rams. It'd be like, wait, what? Like, I think I'd hate that. You know what I mean? I don't think I want him to try to make a big move like that. Just sit what you are.
You don't want it to happen?
Guys. I don't think so, but if they do it'd be fun right up until you have a bunch of bad years in a row.
Well, I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. Still want to give them the benefit of the doubt. So if they decided to do that, they're thinking something's got to be something up their sleeve.
They need like 10 guys, not one.
I know.
We need a lot to do it. Jerry Springer passed earlier today. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the pioneer of trash TV, but certainly one of its most successful purveyors.
Yes.
That is our snake draft today, Em?
Yes, our snake draft is of trash TV. And obviously it's up to you whether or not trash TV is trash TV. This morning, Berg was like, "Oh, Emily, you should put Ted Lasso on it because you hate Ted Lasso." I'm like, I don't hate Ted Lasso. I think Ted Lasso is good.
Just because did he say it like that?
Yeah, he said exactly that. He's like,
I was in the room. He kind of did. I'm taking Emily's side on this one. He kind of did.
Pretty
do
funny.
It like that.
Okay, so again, the order.
Let me guess.
It's
You
different
go
today.
first?
No, it is Travis, then
Whoa.
Taylor, then Emily, then Alan, because I tried to change it up today. We did it based on numbers, and Berg can back me up. It was fair and honest. All right, so Travis,
Sure,
you're up
Berg.
first for the trash TV draft.
Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit of game theory here and hope that the one that I want the most you guys don't take, because I don't know if you guys know it. So I'm gonna put it in my back pocket and hope to get a little lucky. I'm going to take the reason we're doing this in the first place, maybe the most famous edition of trash TV, the hit people with chairs, the fighting girlfriends and boyfriends, and just the chaos of the Jerry Springer Show. I will take Jerry Springer with my first overall pick.
Good choice. Then we have Taylor.
Okay.
Don't say it.
I don't know what you're thinking about, Travis.
Good.
I don't think. But I'm going to go with Cops for my first choice.
Really good one.
That is a good choice.
That's a great one.
I'm down to 3.
Why are you so sweaty?
Well, yeah, the best part is when they take the guy, they have him handcuffed, and they're dragging him out of the house, and the woman that called the police in the first place, leave him alone. It's like, he just beat you up. What do you mean, leave him alone? Take him away.
I think it's the most realistic, too, of all the trash TV.
All right, so my next one is going to be a show I've talked about before. I get really excited about it, and I was really mad when I couldn't see the reunion of this show. So my first pick in the draft is Love is Blind. It's where, again, if people don't know, it's just where two people, they meet in pods, they talk without seeing each other, they get engaged without seeing each other, then they have to get married within a month. It is trash TV. It's reality TV at its finest. Thank you, Netflix, for that every year. So Love is Blind is mine. Go ahead.
So, Slee, I'm worried about you because you're the next oldest person on the show. I think you may steal what I'm thinking, but
I don't think I will.
You get a couple. You might.
Mine won't be. This one won't be surprising.
Okay.
This one is. I went through a stage where I watched a little bit of the show, and I should never have watched it. Jersey Shore.
Great.
Yes.
Jersey Shore. The situation, which you always tell the story. right? That he was the
It
most
was like
popular person.
A combination of Jesus Christ and the Buddha walked through the Super Bowl. It was like everybody was freaking out over the situation.
All right, I don't like to say it, but Jersey Shore. I went through a little stage 2 where I watched a little bit of this show, and they're not proud about it. Early on, saw a few episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Let's go.
Saw a few of them.
Good
Saw a
choice.
few of them. So those are my top
Excellent.
2.
Those are two very good picks.
Okay, so my next one is a show that I watched when I was a kid, actually, and then I've rewatched some episodes recently. The girls in the show were also around the same age as me at the time. We were kids. It takes place in Pittsburgh, and my family was like, they would run into these people all the time. It's called Dance Moms. It is
I know Dance Moms.
the craziest, most
Have you ever seen
insane
it?
show ever.
It's not the one. Is it with all the kids?
Yes,
Is that
all
what
the
it
kids,
is?
but all the moms. The moms watch
The moms
every
are
practice.
lunatics.
Yes.
I've seen previews of the show, and whatever I was watching, I'm like, what is this?
The moms.
Kelly loves Dance Moms.
It's so good.
Loves it, and so I have run into the episodes more. It's terrific.
And some of the girls are really successful now. So Maddie Ziegler has been in like movies, and she's Sia's main dancer. There's a lot of stuff that they actually have like really good careers after this. But Dance Moms, guilty pleasure by far. Taylor?
Okay, this is tough. I think I'm gonna go with Maury for my second pick.
I thought it's not the one I wanted, but I was hoping on the flip that I was going to get more.
You're going to get 2?
Or Maury, I don't
Great
even know how to
choice.
pronounce it. Maury Povich. All those paternity tests are just.
That's a good one.
They're pretty classic.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Those, you are not the father. Those are always that.
Let's go.
I'm so happy
Like he's
that
at
I don't have
a
to
SC
ever see you.
football game.
Touchdown at the
They
buzzer.
just got a touchdown.
All right, so I'm going to take the one that I was hoping no would take.
We're doing 3, by the way?
Yeah.
God bless America. I don't think I have it. This is my third one is it. That's all I got left.
I got 2 coming my way. Not for, and this is somebody that went from really respected journalist who was very highly regarded and did some really good work to a punchline, to somebody that was the gold standard for, this is going to be ridiculous and absurd. I want the Geraldo Rivera show.
Yep.
that Geraldo was the vault and getting hit with the chair in the face. He was great. And then lastly, I'm going super local. The 3 of you may not. It hasn't been on TV in forever. It was on KDOC, Channel 56 here in L.A. It's like a public access show, but it got kind of a cult following. I don't know if it ever went national, but just slightly outside of Southern California. I want the Wally George show. Okay, and it was this guy that was in this costume. He had this white hair. He had an American flag in the background, and he would just yell insults at the audience members, and they would yell insults back at him. Side note, Rebecca De Mornay, actress, Wally George's daughter. So give me the Wally George show.
Taylor?
Okay.
Was that
Me
the
again?
one?
No,
you wanted?
Geraldo.
Oh, Geraldo was.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about anybody taking
I was
Wally
going to
George.
say I didn't know that one.
Okay, my last pick. I was gonna pick 90 Day Fiance because that's got some good comedy on it, but I'm gonna go with it's also a radio show, but it was a TV show for a while too. Loveline.
Oh yeah, Loveline.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dr.
Yeah, it's a good
Drew,
one.
Corolla, just classic.
All right, so my next one, I don't know if anybody in this room has seen this one, but it was called MTV's Next. So the basis of this show, and I love going back and rewatching it. It's literally my favorite thing to do when I'm under the influence and I go back and watch the show. But these people are on the bus. It's either all guys or all girls, and then there's one person outside the bus, and they get paid $1 for every minute they stay on this date. So the cap is 120 minutes, so 2 hours. So you walk off the bus, and then the person can say, next, and you get any money, and you go on. Or if you stay through the date, you get 45 minutes, and you get $45, and you go, next. Or if you stay through the whole thing, you can either choose to take the $120, or you can choose to go on a second date. It's honestly so freaking funny, and that's mine. So next is mine. Alan?
All right, this one is it's a ridiculous show, but I haven't watched it in a while, but I used to watch it. I think it was on Bravo TV, okay? $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. Just ridiculous. Like everything was calculating. These real estate agents are all trying. It's like a kind of a clique of agents all of them trying to sell these multi-million dollars homes, and then it's calculating right there what their commission is, and then the girlfriend is involved as well. And it's just it's like so in this. It ended up spinning up $1 million listing New York, and kind of went all around.
I think it's Netflix. Emily, help me out here. Selling Sunset is what
Netflix.
you're describing.
Yeah,
only
Sunset.
it's turned up to $1 billion. It's
I'm like, why am I watching this?
Because it's awesome.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. By the way, $1 million listing in LA gets you half of a duplex in Culver City.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. It's there's that. You want this? That'll be $1 million.
There was a time where
that
name matched the show. It no longer matches.
No, it's
the show.
move that lawnmower. You can have a cot in the corner of my tool shed, and that's your $1
The
million
best thing about
listing.
Netflix reality shows is all the music is like very hyper realistic. They're always like, they'll be talking about something and like, this is toxic, and they play a song that says, "This is toxic, so toxic." That's the best part about Netflix.
I'm showing Slee my Wally George pictures, and it's a very there's a trillion pictures of Wally George. It's all the same picture. Him screaming at somebody in front of the flag. They're all exactly the same, and it's wonderful. John will know Wally George. We'll talk about Wally George when we come back.
Also, if we missed anything, if there's anything that you think that we should have gotten, you can either call in 877-710-3776, or you can tweet at us, because we love to hear your answers about what we missed and how wrong we were.
All right. I know that I must win. Memphis has a must win.
Yeah.
Sacramento has a must win. Do the Lakers have a must win tomorrow night? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710. Danica Sierra writes, by the way, Slee, I look at all of our mentions during the show, and I get a pretty good sense of who's a regular and who's a newbie. I don't know if I've seen Danica's name before, so welcome, Danica.
Thank you, Danica.
And Danica and I get it, is basically what I'm getting at, because Danica writes, the Wally George Show is the original great call. So when you're 10 years old and you don't quite get how these things work, and you have this guy in this white wig screaming at people on TV while denouncing them for not being great, and you think it's real, it's the best TV show in the history of the world. I wish that Wally George's probably been dead 30 years. I have no idea. Amazing. The TV show was him berating his audience. It was so good. There was no content.
Who can do it now? Is there somebody who take that concept and just...
If I'm being honest, just insulting people, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Right? Like that just him just hammering away at people.
Going
Yes.
right at everybody else.
Yeah.
That's basically
with just making stuff up out of thin air. It's just it was terrific. It can't come back. Richard Bay would have been a good call. Ooh, Crypto Ray with a good one. Hoarders. That
was close. I was going to put that on, but I thought that was more, I don't know.
I'm surprised Real Housewives didn't make it on us either. Real Housewives of New Jersey, OC.
Just because I don't watch it. Do you watch it?
New York.
I could have put it on there. I just never watched it.
I watched it in its first, because the first one was the Real Housewives of the OC when I was living, still do, live in Orange County.
Yep.
One of the original housewives, I won't say which one, aggressively pursued one of my buddies.
Oof.
Like to the point of, this is borderline uncomfortable. And so I had a fascination with that show because I wanted to see where it went, knowing that she had very strong opinions about my buddy.
Yeah, you had a connection
see how
there.
That played out.
You had a connection.
It was pretty great.
We also had Junior in Valencia. He couldn't say on the phone, but he wanted to say Flavor of Love. Is another one.
Is
it's
that
MTV.
Flavor Flav?
Yeah,
it is
Flavor
Flavor Flav.
Flav. That there was like Tila Tequila, and she's been through a ringer now recently.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of those like dating shows. MTV perfected trash TV in the early 2000s.
They had
They did.
People want to get in on this. Let's try Dave in Ventura. Dave, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Dave?
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Great.
Hey, one of the shows that I used to love was a show called Hardcore Pawn. It was about a pawn place back in Detroit. The old man Les owned the place, and his two kids worked for him. His daughter was absolutely a witch, and then his son kept trying to take the place over or steal it from Dad. But it was pretty wild. These people would bring in all kinds of just bizarre crap to try to pawn it. And, of course, Les and his two kids, they would Jew them down to nothing and, then turn around and sell the thing for 20 times the price that they bought it for or pawned it at. And
those are good shows. Yeah, those are good shows. Those I only seen a couple of them where it's these, obviously these pawn shops. What's the one in Vegas, the famous one in Vegas?
Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars.
Yeah.
Those I can't sit there and say I'm watching season by season, but when I just watch a random show of it, it's got me interested for a little bit.
Yeah, well, you want to see how badly they're going to stick it to the guy who's coming in selling his grandpa's watch, right? So he's like, my grandpa took this through World War II. It saved his life on the front lines of the Battle of the Bulge. I'll give you $18. Yeah, and then
best I can do.
Then he turns around and
for
sells it for
$3,300.
$8,000 to the guy that's like a World War II memorabilia expert. It's like, yeah, it's both compelling and deeply, deeply disheartening at the same time. There's a lot going on in that. Let's see, CC in Compton. CC, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Guys, I love the show, but I was calling about the Bad Girls Club. So it would be like 6 to 8 girls in like a mansion with a bunch of liquor, and they start off as friends, and by the end of the season, they're pulling wings and fighting. And
wait, CC, real quick. What's the name of the show?
Bad Girls Club.
Bad Girls Club.
What's it on?
It was on, I believe, like TLC. Now you can see it on Peacock. They have like all the old seasons on Peacock. It doesn't come on anymore. But Natalie Nunn was one of the girls that was on there. She's very popular now. she's the original bad girl. But they would be throwing clothes in the pool.
So let me ask you this. If I just go and find it on the streaming service that you mentioned, can I turn on any episode and I'm going to get people pulling off each other's wigs? Because I'd very much like to see that.
You can go each season. You can go to different episodes. Start like at episode 3, and I'm telling you, you will see fights, and they're drunk, they're crying, they're throwing up. The house is filthy. It is awesome. I still
like
watch it.
CC, that's a great description. That's a fantastic description. When you're ready, let's you and I randomly watch one episode. We'll go to season 1, episode 3. Let's take her opinion there.
Pulling each other's wigs off. I
can't wait for you guys to watch Bad Girls Club.
We really
do you know them?
I know it. I've watched an episode or 2. It's really good.
We really should watch one episode, you and I, at some point.
The breakdown.
Great. What's the best one on the list here, Emily? You decide.
I want to hear from Tony in LA because he has a friend who is on the show next that I picked.
Okay, Tony, what do you got?
What's up, Trav? What's up, Slee? How's it going, guys?
All right.
Good, buddy.
So I had a buddy who was actually on the show next, and it's actually super scripted. He actually did get, obviously, paid for coming out on the show, but it's like super scripted. He didn't get to come out on the bus, and it's just all like fun and games type of thing. But also another show on MTV, Emily, she probably remembers this. It's called Room Raiders. It's a show where you kind of get kidnapped into a van, and it's a dating show, and the person who's like trying to pick the person to date goes into their room like a detective type of thing, and they go searching through their drawers, seeing what the person's like, seeing what their persona is and stuff. And at the end of the day, that's how they pick their date, by the stuff they have in their room and their stuff they have in there.
MTV was so out of pocket in the early 2000s. They would do this stuff. They did this. They did parental control, which is where like you go on a date. You had someone would have a significant other. Their parents didn't like their significant other, and so their parents set them up on another date and then recorded them. MTV was crazy at this time. I'm so happy about this.
I want to watch all of these shows. I haven't heard one that I don't want to see so far. Let's try
We'll rewatch all of Jersey Shore tonight.
Why not? Let's go to La Mirada and Saheed. Saheed, you're all with Trav and Slee.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, this show was like Jerry Springer, but like times 10, and I was actually on the show. They paid you $20 an episode to be on it. It was very scripted, but it was called Jose Luis. It was a Latino show, which they pretty much bring people on there with scripted situations, and then the audience goes up there and actually fist fights with the people. It was pretty crazy.
So here's the thing. So thank you for the phone call. I don't mind the fact that some of this stuff is scripted. I don't mind that a lot of it is like put on to create these wild and crazy situations, because the people still have to execute the wild and crazy situation at the end, right? That I'm going to need you to slap her to make this episode pay off. That I understand they're probably not as mad as they're acting to be. I understand that there's probably not quite the conflict that they're painting. But when you grab her wig and go to tear it off, I'm here for it.
Explain to me this. Why are these shows so popular? Because we all just named off shows that are ridiculous shows. Why are they so popular?
Train wrecks. You can't turn away.
Both of those things, and things that I would feel fairly comfortable saying the four of us will never find ourselves in that situation. So you're having a little bit of a vicarious
Live
thrill
vicariously through somebody.
Because we've all wanted to tear somebody's wig off, but we all haven't had the chance to do it. And when you get to see it done, it just kind of makes you feel better.
Sure.
I'm just saying. Should we
nice
try
and
another
warm
one?
inside.
Let's try Cornell in Los Angeles. What's up, Cornell?
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right.
It's probably not as trashy on those levels, but I think Cheaters. I think that's a show that's kind of trashy. Especially when they be following people, then when somebody, end up cheating, and the cameraman, keep telling them, do you want to keep seeing it? Do you want to keep seeing it? It's like they keep adding more heat. They already have their feelings hurt.
Well, they want to go for the kill shot, right?
Yeah. No. You have to watch a little more of this. Let's forward this a little bit.
They've got them going into the hotel room, right? Like, so the guy that's running around on his wife, he's got his girlfriend, and they show up at the sleazy motel, and you see the lights go out, and the woman's in the van, and she's like, I don't want to see anymore. Like, no, you're gonna stick around. We're gonna catch him when he's coming out.
Let me show you this graph. This is our ratings when you do get to see this.
Right. We're going to show him coming out with his hair all messed up and lipstick on his face, and we want the confrontation when you break into tears and realize your life has come to an end. That might be the best answer. That show was, this is awesome, and it was the second it was over, like, yeah, that was super depressing. That really bums me out.
Family is ruined. And everyone's watching it like, that was good.
It's awesome until it's over. It's like, I really didn't need to see that at all. Yeah, why not? Let's try another one. Tom in Alhambra. Tom, you're on with Trav and Slee.
It's Victor from Alhambra.
Oh, sorry, Victor. What's up?
Hey, there's a show on TLC, the Learning Channel. It's called I Love a Mama's Boy.
Okay.
It's about a girl. It's about a girl who dates a guy, and that guy is a mama's boy. And the moms, man, they're freaking crazy, man. They're all up on the guy's business and all that. The girl gets in a fight with the mom, and these are grown men, like in their 30s, and they're hand feeding them, wiping them, clothing them.
Oh no!
Shaving their back.
Yeah, now this got dark.
What are we learning from that show? The Learning Channel.
That like Emily said, there by the grace of God, right? At least I'm not 30 years old and my mother is feeding me.
Jeez.
Right? It just there are degrees to this. Thank you, Victor. Look, Emily, we need to do better research on these things. That when we do a draft that has this many possibilities, we need to open it up to the audience.
Yeah,
we need to go around to everybody.
Maybe the audience gets a pick as well.
That is amazing.
3 callers get their 3 picks.
There's more than we need. That's fantastic. Good job, everybody. Coming up a week from tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo, a week from tomorrow, ESPN LA taking over Salida Tacos and Margaritas in Anaheim for a Cinco de Mayo fiesta. We're giving away Angels tickets, Mandy Awards tickets, Salida gift cards, and more, all starting with mine and Slee's show at 10 a.m. So join me and Slee, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, the entire 710 crew at Anaheim's hottest new restaurant, Salida Tacos and Margaritas. Light the fire within and feed your soul. Is tomorrow a must-win for the Lakers? We're doing it next, and maybe some trash TV. It's coming up. Travis Lee, 710.
Today, but I want to tell everyone about Cinco de Mayo. What we're doing on Cinco de Mayo. Going to be a party in North Orange County. The new Salitas, right there in Anaheim, right in front of Angel Stadium, used to be the old Hooters restaurant. Our competition, Steve Hartman, your buddy, used to do a lot of remotes over there at that Hooters in Anaheim.
Steve Hartman.
Off the 57 and Catella Avenue. We're going to be there, though, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for Cinco de Mayo. Get ready to press the flesh with everybody from the 710 crew. Located at Catella Avenue, right near Angel Stadium. We're going to have Angels tickets.
Yes.
We're going to have a special pair of Mandy's tickets to give away that day, gift cards and more.
Nice.
So come on out. Cinco de Mayo. Put that on your calendar.
We're all
right
going
now.
to be there, right?
That's the 5th of May, May.
Yes,
Cinco de
I know.
Mayo. The 5th
No,
of May.
actually.
Tomorrow night at Crypto.com, we'll be all over it with a Lakers Game Day Friday tomorrow, plus all your reaction today. So keep checking back with us all day long, whether you're listening on 710 or on the new ESPN LA app. Don't miss a moment, yo. Right now, more of Trav and Slee.
All right, Lakers Game 6 coming up tomorrow night at Crypto. Very quickly, somebody said something, one of the callers said something last segment that you didn't hear, I didn't hear, Taylor didn't hear, Emily didn't hear, that we obviously would have dumped it had we heard it. And I just want to apologize to everybody. That's not what any of us in this room are about. And I sincerely apologize. It won't happen again. And we're going to squash that as quickly as we can. But we got a couple of heads up. So our bad. We will do better. And we don't stand for any of that stuff, and that's a bad deal.
Yeah,
so
just wanted to mention that.
Whoever that was, and I don't know exactly who said it, but don't call us anymore.
Yep.
We're done. Yep. We're done with that. One more trash TV suggestion here, Al. How about the last 10 seasons of Angels baseball?
Good one.
That's reality TV.
It is. It's reality. It's bad reality TV along the way.
Might be the best one.
Raiders made the playoffs 2 years ago. At least that's something.
They have been
Probably should have
Angels
won.
are special right now.
Yeah.
That's the right one.
They should grab that number 3 pick. Let's make it weird tonight at the NFL draft. The Rams have moved into number 3. I don't think I want to hear that. I want to hear moving up. Sometimes great. Remember what Chicago moved from 3 to 2 to take Mitch Trubisky. And then a handful of picks later, with the next pick, the Kansas City Chiefs will take Patrick Mahomes as. Out of Texas Tech University.
Yeah, that worked out all right. Jeez.
Make the right pick. All right. Lakers have a 3-2 advantage coming home to L.A., which you said earlier in the program is exactly where you would want to be, right? That if you said at the beginning of the series, you're going to get a 3-2 lead, you're going to get Game 6 on your home floor, do you want to buy that right now? Heck yeah. Let's do it. Let's keep it moving, and let's take our chances. Is that true, or is there 2 chances to win one game, right? Is it that, or is it, listen, LeBron looked really gassed last night. LeBron only has a very short window to get ready for Friday night. In the event that they do lose, it's an even shorter window going back to Sunday afternoon, most likely.
Yeah.
That this maybe not is an elimination for the game for the Lakers the way it is for the Grizzlies or the way that it's going to be for Sacramento.
Yep.
But this is a de facto must-win game.
So if the idea and the goal is here, the goal is not to just get past the first round. You're going to get certain opportunities in a series. Are you going to seize those opportunities or not? Game 2 for me was the most disappointing game that the Lakers have played this series. Not Game 5, what we saw yesterday. I thought yesterday was a little bit more. I expect the Memphis Grizzlies to put up a fight this series. When Lakers had that chance in Game 2, after taking Game 1 and Ja Morant wasn't going to play in that game, what you were trying to do is kind of avoid a long series. And it's, again, because Ja Morant wasn't playing in Game 2. Yesterday's loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, I don't think is the end of the world. I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. However, what it has set up is Game 6 is here. If stealing home court was the most important thing against the Memphis Grizzlies, you accomplished that in Game 1. If holding home court was the next important thing, you accomplished that in Games 3 and 4.
Yep.
So what you can't have happen is against a young team like the Memphis Grizzlies, obviously
fatigue will be less of a factor for them.
Less of a factor. And they're in their own head. Desmond Bain had said this after Game 4. He said, we'll be back here in L.A. for Game 6. Okay, they're going back there in L.A., right? He also said, we're going to be back in Memphis for Game 7. These guys are very confident. They believe in themselves. Give them all the credit in the world for that. You're the Lakers. You got LeBron and Anthony Davis. You got what you were looking for, was getting one in Memphis. It was all set up for this game tomorrow. I'm not telling you that it's a guarantee the Lakers would lose in 7 if it goes 7, but how demoralizing if you have to leave tomorrow and start flying back to Memphis for an afternoon game on Sunday. You're going to tell me Memphis is not going to feel so incredibly good going into Game 7, seeing that every extra game the Lakers have to play, it hurts them because of the travel, not just travel, the time in between games. Sure. It's not a must-win, but it is certainly, this is your opportunity to take care of business. You're playing with fire to go to Game 7.
Let me ask you this, and I'm curious what you think, because who's the most dangerous player in this series? The one guy that could just single-handedly flip this thing on its head. I think there's a handful of options here.
So, does it matter which team?
No.
Or, okay.
The one guy in the two teams, the one guy that's just, if he goes nuts, there's not much of an answer for it.
I think I lean towards Desmond Bane is an incredibly important player for the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant is more likely to go off for 35 or 40.
Right.
But if Bane gets you 30, like he has in these last couple of games, that's interesting. That backcourt now, yesterday I'm going to use that as an example. Bane went off again. That's 2 straight games.
No, he was great.
They had almost 70 points between the two of them.
Answer.
And he got 10 rebounds. And he had 5 assists or whatever he had. And he shot over 50%. If Bane plays, they have a shot. And if something similar happened yesterday that happened small, if that backcourt again goes off together. Because remember, when they lost in overtime, Ja Morant did not have a good game. It was Bane that had the good game.
Right.
Okay? But if that backcourt goes off, that's a really tough. Now all of a sudden there's less pressure on Jaren Jackson Jr. Now there's more margin for error for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's a guy that kind of worries me.
That's an interesting answer because to me it's one of these 3 guys, right? And Bane was not one of the 3 guys I was thinking of. It's Ja, LeBron, and AD, right? The guy that just and what I'm getting at is this, and maybe the answer could be Bane. As you were explaining it, that could very well be the right answer. If the Lakers lose tomorrow night, now you're into anything can happen. Foul trouble, injury, or someone just goes off, right? Someone just goes off and beats you by themselves. LeBron could do it. AD could do it, but so could Ja. And you're at home, so it's more likely to be a player from the home team. That's why I keep coming back to tomorrow night being this goes to game 2. Hey, don't spend money you don't need to have. Last night, I'm so glad you keep saying it. They just got beat last night. My only complaint from last night is I think you burned LeBron.
You were down by so much.
Yeah.
Save some of that.
Save some of that. The rest of it is a good team played well and beat you. Not a big deal. You're coming home. But you did burn the candle at both ends a little bit. And now you're in a position where when they were up 3-1, you thought they're going to win the series. I thought they're going to win. I still do. I think they're going to win tomorrow night. But in the event that they don't, now that randomness that comes into one-game situations – I'm not so sure if it doesn't favor Memphis because of Ja, or to your point, because of Bane, who they've had a really tough time controlling. Ja's probably still dealing with a lot of pain in that hand. I don't want to come down to, wait, Bane just went for 35 again, and we can't slow him down. If he does it tomorrow night, you still got a little bit of a cushion. But man, oh man, I do not want to go back to Memphis with anything can happen, even though the Lakers have 2 guys that can win a game by themselves.
That momentum that we talk about, last night's win for Memphis, okay, gives them a little bit of momentum. Now, I don't think the Lakers are panicking. Hey, we're here, Game 6, just take care of business at home. But if Memphis finds a way, doesn't matter. 10 points, 1 point, doesn't matter. If Memphis finds a way to say, we're sending it back to Memphis. You guys want this series? Come follow us. We're going to be on the first flight. You come on the second flight, and we'll take our chances on our home court. We'll take our chances with... You already played 37 minutes yesterday. You played 45 minutes the game before. How many minutes are these guys going to play in the next game coming up? You mentioned something earlier. There are certain teams that got to play a certain style towards the end of the season. Memphis really wasn't fighting for something towards the end of the season. Yeah. They're trying to hold on to that number 2 spot, but it was nothing crazy, right?
Right.
And they're already young. So for them, what they're thinking is, we're going to sprint. You want the marathon. We're trying to sprint. It's starting to become a sprint to the series, right? It's the longer it goes, the more it benefits a team that's... Did you see them yesterday just like this? You know, it's kind of funny. When Lakers were up 24 and you're saying take everybody out.
Mm-hmm. Down 24.
Or down 24.
Yeah.
Take everybody out.
Even up 24, I'd want to take everybody out.
Same thing.
Right?
Same exact thing. But you're in the fourth quarter, you're down 24. And we always say it's kind of funny watching what teams did to get where they are, and then all of a sudden they stopped doing it. Lakers went on a 12-0 run. And the only reason they went on a 12-0 run is because Taylor Jenkins is telling Memphis to slow it down, work the clock. And the moment Memphis slowed it down, it played to the Lakers' advantage. But when they're like this, Trev, that's part of the game plan.
Can I be super greedy too?
Yeah.
I think there's some optimism in my greed, and here's what I mean. The Lakers are still. We talked about Giannis a minute ago. We've talked about the Dodgers. There are certain teams that have different expectations, and even though the Lakers kind of snuck in the back door of the playoffs, the Lakers are a championship caliber team as you look at the rest of the NBA. There's nobody in the West that's just lights out better than everybody else. And Milwaukee just got beat in the East as the number 1 seed in the first round. If the Lakers win tomorrow night, or if they go to Game 7 in Memphis and find a way to win on the road, good for them. And this is a remarkable turnaround of where they are. But the Lakers are about winning titles. You're not going to tell the story of the year that the Lakers escaped the Memphis Grizzlies in Game 7 in round 1. It's cool and it's fun. The Lakers are about titles. And playing a Game 7 in Memphis, even if you win, makes a title less likely. Makes a victory in the second round over the Warriors or the Sacramento Kings less likely. The Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns, they both went through in 5 games. Now, the Suns had a tougher ride than the Nuggets, but this is what you're supposed to do in the first round. If you're the higher seed, you're out, and we're going to sit here and we'll get ready for the next one. The Lakers are in a fist fight, and they're not built for a bunch of fist fights in a row. They're built to win games. They're really good. Their 2 best players, one is old, and the other one is injury prone. It's a tough road for them to get through, and every time you add another game to this schedule, it gets less likely they're going to punch their ticket.
Well, Trav, that's why, we don't even have to go through where we're sitting today. Remember the playing game against Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, if you lose this game, you got to come back on Friday and then start a series. We've been talking about this now for how long? Even before the regular season ended.
100%.
Do you remember when they went in an overtime game against
Utah?
the Jazz?
Yeah.
And then you had Clippers the next night, and you're like, well, that's going to affect them. It's not like the tired legs started yesterday. The tired legs has been going on for 3 weeks, but they were fortunate enough to be in a playing tournament where they got 4 days off and kind of managed the schedule in the beginning. Clippers, I think there was a time where they had played 4 and Lakers still had played 2, right? And now things are all catching up. They're catching up to each other.
The Lakers got the good end on the front. The problem is the front's over. They're at the back now.
Yeah.
The back is every other day. This is the hockey schedule where you play every other day.
And they did. You're right. They got the fortunate part in the front. They went up 3-1. If it was 2-2, if Memphis got that win, that overtime win, and then everything's starting to go against you, we'd be sitting in probably a position right now where they're down 3-2 in LA.
Take advantage when you can. And they haven't so far. They're still in a pretty good spot. Win tomorrow night.
Listen, I think they're winning tomorrow.
You said it. This did not feel like a 5-game series anyway. These 2 teams are way too close in ability and execution that it did not feel like a 5-game series, and now it's not. What I don't want is it to feel like a 7-game series. That let's just skip that altogether. The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710
It's time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. Have you ever indulged in the chili from a Wendy's? Have you ever gone to Wendy's and said, you know what, give me the chili?
I have not got what do they got, the Baconator there?
I believe they have a Baconator.
That's the only thing I think I've ever got there.
Okay, never even gotten the square. Square burger would be a big. They also do the Frosty.
Baked potato?
Baked potato.
You're not like a Wendy's guy.
No, definitely not a Wendy's guy.
If you are a Wendy's guy out there and you are a fan of their chili, which
like
is
Robert Hebel, my dad.
Does he a Rob or a Bob or
Rob?
Rob Hebel is team Wendy's chili.
He
Taylor, you
loves
strike me as you may hit the chili from Wendy's.
What, are they getting rid of it?
They are not.
Okay.
You can now buy it in grocery stores. They're going to start selling canned Wendy's chili. Like there's.
Am I missing out? Should I be getting some?
It's just
canned
chili.
I've never had the pleasure.
Wendy's
I don't
chili?
know. Taylor, you've had it. Is it good?
Yeah, it's delicious. I did hear a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not that it's just kind of the leftover square burgers, but I don't know.
That works. That's fine. That's kind of what is it?
That doesn't freak me out too bad, right?
Yeah.
They serve
all
at the
ground beef.
restaurants
They're not wasting
when
anything.
it's like the fish is starting to go. Yeah, let's throw that into a soup.
The rule on fish in restaurants: never on a Sunday. Never, because nobody gets fresh food delivered on a Sunday.
Nobody does. That's right.
Right. So the stuff comes other days. Sundays, no deliveries.
Sunday
And
afternoon.
Wendy's thing is that it's
some-
fresh, never frozen. That's always the fresh meat.
Yeah. I think as far as national fast food chains go, it's probably the best for freshness.
Am I the only one that's surprised by this? That they have the top 50 officially licensed NFL player products sold over the last year. There are 4 Los Angeles NFL players on this list. Justin Herbert's at the top at number 12.
Okay.
Doesn't surprise me. He's very popular. Cooper Kupp is just behind him at 15. Very popular. Aaron Donald is at 26, one of the greatest players of all time. Not a big surprise. Matthew Stafford at 33? That really catches me by surprise, Al. Are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised that Herbert's number 12. You don't have any surprise there?
No, he's the flavor of the month. So this is based on last year. Everybody's, the next big deal is Justin Herbert. I'm not surprised.
But let me explain this, Travis. So I think that it's the top 50 jerseys in the NFL. So every quarterback for every team is going to be on this list, likely. So if you're a fan of the Texans,
typically you
or
buy
so Geno
the
Smith is on this list.
Maybe, who knows? But I think
that's what I'm getting at, though, right?
I'm thinking but if you're a starting quarterback in the NFL, I think you're going to end up.
Where for you? Where would Stafford?
Not in the top 50, right? Matthew Stafford is. Are there a bunch of? I like Matthew Stafford. I'm thrilled he won the team of Super, but I'm not going to run around. If I'm getting a Rams jersey, I'm getting Kupp or Donald. Those are the two that make sense to me.
Yeah.
Not a Stafford.
I'm still
But
getting
also,
If you're in Detroit, sure.
Yeah.
It still counts probably for Detroit too.
It's not a 1-year deal.
I don't know. I don't know the details of it counts for his Lions stuff too, but.
All right, UConn men's basketball coach Dan Hurley, recently national championship winning head coach Dan Hurley, sent President Joe Biden to voicemail because he was on the phone with a recruit. The White House called him while he was on the phone, and Hurley missed it. He was talking to a class of 2024 recruit, saw a 202 area code number buzz in, but didn't make the connection. It doesn't come up on your caller ID like Joe Biden, Hurley said. I just assume when the president calls, it would be someone interrupting your call and saying the president of the United States is on the line. So, yeah, I'm on a phone with a recruit that I never saw, and I missed a call from the president of the United States, but I did get a voicemail.
That's an interesting story. By the way, that is something he's got.
Move.
Is it going to say on there?
Unintentional power move.
But by the way, it should say something on there. White House.
Yes.
It should have something on there that says, obviously there's no number or whatever, something to let you know, hang up or answer this phone call because this is an important call.
Okay, I'm team Dan Hurley in this one. That if they didn't tell him, hey, excuse me, coach, tomorrow at 12:25, President Biden will be calling you to congratulate you on your national championship. Would you please make sure that you're available to take the call? Then he sends it to voicemail. That's on Dan Hurley, right? But if you just get a call,
For all he knows, it's an insurance payment.
I have no idea what it is.
We're past
if you
the
got
fifth
a
of the
202
month.
number on your phone, are you answering it? If it just comes up Washington D.C. in the number,
No, I'm just going to assume it's a spam call.
Good for you, Hurley, sending the president to voicemail.
Hopefully that recruit goes to UConn, because that would be what a story if
Well,
you're that recruit.
what would be so baller is if he's like, hey, I know we're supposed to be talking to the recruit. The president is calling me on the other line. I'll call you back.
Or you're saying,
how's that recruit
you're more
not
important
say,
to me than the president of the United States because I want you to come play for the UConn Huskies. Get us the next national championship.
This has very strong Nick Saban vibes, who was complaining as the confetti was falling on him and he had the trophy in his hands for winning the national championship.
He's
he was
gotta get
complaining
back.
about, this is taken away from recruiting time. Coach, game ended 20 seconds ago. Just maybe enjoy the moment a little bit. The Knicks have advanced. They are out of a playoff series, or advanced from a playoff series, for the first time since 2013. Entering this season, the Knicks had won one playoff series since 2001, the fewest of any team during that span. So, Taylor, you can take some comfort in knowing that up until yesterday, you had won more playoff series than the New York Knicks.
Feels good.
Look at that brand
about to
and
get
that
another one
market. And think about what you just said.
And the most passionate fans, maybe outside of Laker fans.
Okay, so I'll tell you something funny. A couple years ago, remember when they won a first-round matchup, right? A couple years ago. And they're actually, I'm trying to think, did they win a first-round matchup?
They didn't
or did
win,
they
just
just won a
game.
game?
They won a
That's what it
game.
was. That what it was.
Against the Hawks.
They celebrated as if they won a championship.
They lost that series 4-1.
Okay, so that's exactly what it was. And the way they reacted, I'm like, this is actually really pathetic. I was, towards the end of this series, it's like, hey, I got no problem if the Knicks move on. It's not just good for basketball. Can you give that fan base something to cheer for? And it's Knicks Miami in the first round. Milwaukee's not, it almost feels like the 1990s again, that it's Knicks Miami.
And it's going to be ugly, probably,
Yeah,
too,
it's okay.
right? That's
Yeah, it
just
will
how
be
those
ugly.
teams play. MLB has told the Braves they can no longer sport the oversized baseball cap to celebrate home runs after the league heard complaints from New Era. New Era, of course, is the manufacturer of the official on-field cap. New Era hates a good time, Al. That's all I take away from that.
Why didn't New Era just make a oversized hat and start selling those damn things?
Put that thing together.
That's a
Have
bad
that
look
giant
for New
thing.
Era.
It is. And by the way, that's one of the few things in baseball that's goofy and fun
Yeah.
and light. And if you want to put on what the Padres had, they have the sport coat or the pinwheel.
At one point, they had the chain where
The
you
pinwheel
spin
on
the
the
wheel.
chain.
Angels
The
had the
Orioles have
cowboy hat.
It's not a beer bong, but what are they using? It's
the Orioles?
yeah, the
A funnel.
Orioles are using.
Oh, they have a funnel?
Yeah, a funnel.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Angels had the cowboy hat,
It
and now
changed.
they've got like a, I don't know what it's called.
Some kind of.
It's like the hat that Genghis Khan wore.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Yeah,
is
it's different
called,
now.
but it's
Mariners have a trident.
awesome.
Yeah,
There's
very
really
cool.
the Dodgers don't do anything, do they?
No, they used to have the bubble machine, but I haven't seen them do it. They just do the choo-choo train
Yeah,
thing now.
and they do this thing too, where they,
Yeah,
they
this-
just look through the window.
yeah,
I don't
look,
know what
yeah,
it is.
exactly. Look at this.
All I know is it didn't get them any runs.
New
today.
era.
They
Yeah,
lose
none-
6-2.
no runs.
New Era, sell some oversized hats.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, Mace, you may or may not know this, but as someone who grew up outside of Southern California,
Yes.
this one may miss you.
Okay.
John, you and I talked about it a little bit. We were doing Jerry Springer died today, right?
Oh, sure.
So we were
Jerry
talking
Springer, former mayor of Cincinnati.
Former lead anchor on a newscast of the #1 rated newscast in Cincinnati.
I knew he's mayor.
Wow.
I didn't know he's a newscaster.
Oh, yeah?
But it was
his credibility sort of drifted away
well,
from him
he
over
chose
the
a
years.
different path.
Yes, he did.
He chose a very different path. So we were picking and talking about our favorite kind of trash TV shows, and one of my draft picks, Ireland, was Wally George.
The greatest. Oh, my
Do you know
gosh.
Wally
No,
George?
I don't know Wally George.
John, do you want to
That
try
good,
to
John?
explain Wally
All right,
George?
So he was on a cable access show, so think Wayne's World.
KDOC.
Yeah, it taped in Santa Ana, and it was a small set with a desk, an American flag. Was that his real hair or was that a wig?
I think it was a wig. I assumed it was a
the
wig.
shocking white hair, and he was the original the very first right-wing extremist.
Yeah.
Okay, so he would invite a Democrat on. He'd pack the crowd with all his fans. They're screaming, Wally, Wally.
Yeah.
And some poor sap would come out and say, well, I don't think there's an illegal immigration problem. And Wally would explode. He goes, you're everything that's wrong with this country. You see this flag? And the crowd would go, Wally, Wally. And well, let me make my point. Well, I will not let you make your point. You're an ass. And he would just yell at people. And at least 30 times the audience would just start chanting Wally.
And he would berate the audience, too. There would occasionally be a non-Wally fanatic, and they would all turn on him. It was
I remember
so
one
far
time,
ahead of its time.
He's like the original.
His daughter was Rebecca De Mornay.
I mentioned that too.
I forgot about that. Yes,
and
now
you know who we're talking about.
Remembrance of him. Yeah.
So when Risky Business came out, that was obviously a huge hit. But she played a hooker who has sex on a train.
Yes.
And one of those guys, Trav, in the audience one time said, "Well, Wally, who are you to talk? Your daughter's taking." And he just, Rebecca's a grown woman. She can make her own decisions, and you are a moron. And he just would start screaming. And then the crowd would go, Wally. It was the precursor to Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey Jr., yeah.
They were all playing characters, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wally was not that. Wally was playing that. Wally was like Colbert, only not particularly creative.
I heard your trash TV draft.
Oh, I did not hear it.
And I'm shocked that none of the four of you took MILF Manor. Do you know about MILF Manor?
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
I have not had the
so you
pleasure
could go
of
to reality. It wasn't necessarily talk show guys.
It could be
was just
any
trashy
trashy
Keeping Up with the
reality.
Kardashians, Real Housewives.
And do you have the list in front of you if you wanted to? So Mason,
I have the list.
Read it off for
All right,
Mace.
so it's Travis chose Jerry Springer Show,
Yes.
Geraldo Rivera, and then Wally George.
Strong.
Where's Morton Downey
Right
Jr.?
there.
Taylor chose Cops, Maury, and Loveline.
Okay, there you
Also
go.
excellent.
I chose Love is Blind, Dance Moms, and MTV's Next.
I haven't seen any of those.
Can't recommend Dance
by the
Moms
way,
enough.
is pretty awful.
It's
Yeah.
terrific.
Yeah.
And then Alan chose Jersey Shore, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and $1 Million Listing. The thing is, none of us watch MILF Manor, which is why we wouldn't have picked it.
But
We
I
don't-
mean,
it's all things we watch.
$1 Million Listing, even I watch. I don't consider it to be necessarily trashy.
No,
Like,
what you need-
I just like to see the houses and how
No,
big
okay,
they
so
are.
you
and-
need the next iteration of that show.
was the Orange County one,
No,
right?
it's Selling Sunset.
Selling Sunset.
Yes.
Now,
Oh, that's the one you
trashy.
mentioned.
Yeah.
That's the one
That's
you mentioned.
trashy.
Selling
And then
Sunset
selling,
is trashy.
Trav, selling the OC is that on steroids.
No, it's terrific.
It's basically a bunch of girls dressed like they're trying to audition for Playboy selling houses.
Who I really question even have real estate licenses.
I would like to make sure. I'd like to see their credentials.
Right. I thought maybe this is the one house they
the star
sold.
of that show, that Selling the OC, who they tried to turn into a villain, like literally every single time she's on camera, it's just a massive
Isn't
shot of
that
her
Chrishell?
cleavage. No, Chrishell's on Selling Sunset.
Oh, okay, got it. I
So
try to keep
I got the
track.
G-rated version
Yeah.
then with
I
$1 Million
wanna say-
Listing.
$1 Million Listing is kind of normal.
That's just a real
that's
estate
Josh
show.
Flagg and, you know.
Yeah, that's normal. When you go to Selling OC and Selling Sunset,
Yeah.
it turns off. Now, I have a pretty good. Jerry Springer died today, is why we brought this up. I have a pretty good Jerry Springer story that Mason's heard, but I haven't told in a long time. So, I go on vacation. Lisa and I go on vacation with these couples, and we just decide that it doesn't matter where we go. We all have fun together, so we'll go anywhere. So every time your turn on the wheel comes up, you get to pick the place. So one of my friends picked Laughlin,
Nevada?
Laughlin, Nevada.
Okay, which is
The river.
picture Vegas, but grimier.
Yeah, right. Right.
Laughlin.
I've been.
It's like a step down from Reno.
Right, exactly.
And
Reno looks like
Very
Monte
well-
Carlo.
By the way, that
compared
may
to
be the
Laughlin.
best description of Laughlin I've ever heard. But
Yes.
so we go and we get there on like a Friday night, and I get out of the car and we walk in. There's like 4 couples. There's 8 of us, and never in my entire, because this is like 20 years ago. Never in my career have I been recognized this much. It was almost like
Really?
I was being punked. And so I walk into the casino, and the security guard goes, "Man, it's great to have you here. I can't believe you're here." And I walk in, and this guy goes, "Oh my God, I watch you every night. I can't believe you're here." I'm like,
Were you on the news still at this point?
Yeah, I was doing. I
Okay.
did sports every night on KCAL.
Okay.
And I'm convinced now that one of my friends has put it's got a comedy troupe, and they're just tagging me out. And this is the first 20 minutes of the trip, and they're just messing with me. And they all swear they're not. And even Lisa's looking at me going, this is weird. Like, you've been recognized. We go to check in, and there's this super long line. And this guy comes out from behind the counter and goes, you don't have to wait in line. Come here.
Wow.
And I'm like,
K-Cow. Power of K-Cow.
I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? And literally, like a light bulb going off. We get our room keys. We go. The doors open. Now, keep in mind, I did sports on K-Cal from 10:45 to 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock every night was Jerry Springer. So the door opens to the elevator, and this guy, nobody, by the way, the weirdest thing about this was no one ever called me by my name. They all said, hey, great to see you. So glad you're here. You don't have to wait in line. No, not John, not Ireland, nobody knew my name.
Sports guy?
Yeah, nothing. And finally, the doors open, and this guy's sitting there with one of those drinks that's like 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Looks at me and goes, hey, you're the guy that's on right before Jerry Springer. It turns out in Laughlin, everybody would watch Jerry Springer, so they would tune in at 10:55. They'd watch me for 5 minutes and catch the beginning of the Jerry Springer show.
That's awesome.
My friends to this day, they texted me today when he died. He goes, oh, now we can tell that Ireland story again. We haven't told it for a few years, but
that's awesome.
It was I was the K-Cal.
The guy before Springer,
and Don Corsini, who was the GM at K-Cal at the time, was good friends with Springer.
Okay.
Knew him, helped produced his movie, and so he gave him that. He kept him in that slot for 20 years.
Yeah,
yeah. It was the name of the movie was Ringmaster.
Yeah.
And it was like basically a story about all the people that would go on Jerry Springer, and it was like that, a lot of sex and nudity. And
So if you're, for example, right now a pregnant woman, and you want to prove somebody is your
baby daddy,
where do you even go
Maury.
without a job? Is Maury still on?
That's more. You're
Maury Povich
crossing
is
the
still
stream.
on? Oh, really?
So Maury is the you are not the father guy. Maury's entire show is paternity tests.
Okay, three facts about Maury Povich.
Married to Connie Chung.
Yeah, that's
number one.
Son of Shirley Povich,
who is a legendary journalist from Washington, D.C.
One more fact. One more Maury fact.
Will I get the third one?
Like Jerry Springer, a former #1 rated news anchor in like Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia and New York.
Jeez.
And those guys, Springer and Maury, just turned left and realized how much money was in it. And they said, we're never giving it up.
Somebody needs to look this up. I think Maury's still on the air.
No, really?
I really do. I think that it's still on
Well, you
the
remember
air.
he started as the host of A Current Affair.
Yeah,
Right,
Current Affair.
right.
That's right.
It actually ended in 2022.
Oh, okay. So just
switched
in.
over to Maury. But yeah, there's a lot of bad TV.
Did you
out
log
there.
a lot of trash TV?
Well, Jerry Springer's a really big deal, especially in Ohio, because we knew him as the mayor of Cincinnati.
Sure.
And look what the mayor of Cincinnati is doing now. That was actually a big thing. Ireland is a huge trash TV guy.
Can't get enough of it. We'll watch anything.
He's like Real Housewives of Des Moines. He's all over
Well, I'm
it.
surprised none of you guys threw Temptation Island in there, which was maybe the worst idea ever, but a decent TV show in the sense that they got couples that were together, and they send them to an island, and they take the guy and they send him to a place where there are 20 girls, and they take the girl and send her to a place 20 guys, and these are the best looking people ever, and they just try and get them to cheat. And it was great.
Yeah, that's a good concept.
So not one of the originals, but the original of Real Housewives was the Real Housewives of Orange County. Okay, so down kind of sort of where I live and where you grew up. Right. So before it became this huge phenomenon, when it was just kind of getting started, you would occasionally see these women out and about.
Yeah. Mostly at Javier's in Crystal Cove. But go ahead.
So you're on to something here.
Yeah.
One of my good buddies, single guy, used to go to Javier's in Crystal Cove.
That's where they all hang out.
To hang out and get a drink and maybe meet somebody.
Did he go there because of this?
No, he was. That was his spot that he would hit occasionally. One of the housewives took a fascination into him.
Made a run at him
repeatedly.
Wow.
And he was not really feeling it all that much. Like he He didn't need that part.
Were there cameras there?
No, but she kept telling him, she liked him,
yeah,
and she was interested in him. But hey, if you and I, you can be on the TV show and you can do all of this, that she was aggressively pursuing him, and all of us are egging him on to do it.
Right.
Like we're
just for the story, if
absolutely.
Nothing else.
Like you have, and my buddy is a bit of a wild card.
Yeah.
That he didn't do it today is still one of the great regrets of my life. That he had a moment of maturity.
I have a friend of mine I went to high school with. Shout out to Mike Fell down in Orange County. He's an attorney. And he's like Mason. He would never, ever say no to any chance to appear on television.
Oh, on TV. I got to get on
reason.
TV. Got to get on TV.
So, and he's got a great personality, and he's funny. And so he has now become he's perfect for it. But whenever one of these girls gets in trouble, he represents them in court.
Oh,
so
nice.
he's appeared 6 or 7 times on The Real Housewives.
Wow.
And he's always wanted to say, well, you drove drunk and you crashed your car into a tree, but nobody got hurt, so I think I can get you out with just probation. Oh, thank you.
Did he ever get invited to Andy Cohen in the clubhouse or whatever the hell they call that show?
Well, that's in New York. That tape's in New York.
Oh, okay. But isn't that one of Andy Cohen's shows?
Yeah. But
and don't they
the
fly
girls
everybody
go,
in
the
to
girls
do
go.
that?
Well, remember, Trav, the pitcher Matt Keogh, his ex was one of the Real Housewives.
Gina.
Yeah. And she's not on anymore, but she was in the original cast of the beginning. I went to school in my class at Corona Del Mar was Matt's sister Rainey, who's really nice and now lives in Colorado and was really cute and fun. But that was like, so we all had connections to that show through my friend Mike and through the Keoghs and through everything.
I'm always amazed. Ireland has all these friends who are doing people I went
he can't hook
to
you up.
are like overweight and living in the same house they grew up in.
Look, Corona Del Mar and Toledo are a little different.
It really is different.
Trav, you ever been to the Quiet Woman, which is a bar that's in downtown Corona Del Mar?
Yes.
So did you ever see the episode called The Not So Quiet Woman when they had a food fight in
I
The
missed
Quiet
that
Woman?
one.
Oh, throwing plates. It was the greatest. It was awesome.
Is there any show you would say no to?
Let's see. I always think I should be a reality show. I would be a great reality
You want to be a
show.
participant or a host?
Oh,
'Cause
I'd like to be a participant.
Really?
Oh, I'd like cameras following me
I
around.
couldn't
yeah.
do it.
I live
I'm way
a
too self-conscious.
wild life. As you know, Ireland, I
Yes.
live a wild life. It would be fascinating
You
to follow.
order candy off of Postmates.
Off of Postmates, that's right.
Yeah, what
no,
else?
lately
What
I've
else
been-
you
Not
doing?
anymore.
Lately,
Not
You'd
anymore.
only have to send the cameras to here and Mason's
No,
house.
lately we've been going out for a cocktail every night.
Oh, that's good.
At a different place every
good.
single night. Yeah,
Within how close to your place?
a couple blocks.
That's okay.
Walking
That's
distance.
all right.
Walking distance, yes.
Nothing
It's
wrong with
best
that.
when it's walking
Yeah.
distance, right?
You don't have to worry about
Yeah,
driving.
don't worry about driving.
Hosting one of those shows would
Would
interest
be
me
fun.
a great deal.
Well, Jeff Probst,
participating
Jeff
not
Probst
so.
has done
made a
that
fortune.
I mean, he has done that forever.
But that's like, is that not like the middle? That's
not trashy.
It's not super trashy, right? It's just reality TV, and you got the conch or whatever it is they hand each other to kick
Here's
somebody
here's
off the
the
show.
torch and all that business.
But like The Bachelor, that's pretty trashy.
He made a lot of money doing that.
Chris
right? The
Harrison,
Bachelor,
yeah,
Chris Harrison.
he's
He did it
out now.
forever.
He got Me Too'd or something.
Have you ever gotten the opportunity to host one of those?
No, but it was interesting. I got an offer to when it started. TVG, the horse racing network, offered me an anchor job. I turned it down, and Chris Harrison took it.
Oh, really?
And then he
That's
went on to be the Bachelor.
stepping stone
that
to
could
be
have
on
been
The
my
Bachelor.
road.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't.
I lost a job too. I was doing this wasn't trashy at all. They were doing Tony Danza was producing a sports politically incorrect show. This is when Bill Maher was doing that show on ABC, and it came down to me and George Lopez.
Really?
Yeah, and I could not stop sweating.
You had an Albert Brooks
audition?
Albert Brooks. I sweat the entire time. Lost the job to George Lopez. Now, ultimately, the show didn't go anywhere, so I didn't feel so bad. But that sweating, I remember Eric Kramer, saying,
quarterback.
Yeah, the Kramer. He was one of the panelists on that thing. Yeah. And we went to a commercial break, and he said, "Wipe your face, dude. Wipe your face."
At least you lost out to George Lopez.
I know,
He's
it's
like
worse-
a
worse
famous
people to lose
comedian.
out to,
It could have been
exactly.
somebody named George Rodriguez that
Yeah,
we've never heard of.
exactly.
At least it's
Exactly.
George Lopez.
George Briones.
Yeah, George Briones.
Whoa. Good
George
afternoon.
Sedano.
Hey.
That would piss me off.
Super Crosstalks powered by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger is all about. Mason and Ireland.